shot comes in and it has round the back off the net. The first thing is the ball to Darcy! Goal! It's a fairy tale. Brilliant field by McGowan. Gets it all away in the back of the net.
This is what people across the world have been crying out for.
Well, welcome to Healy Park in Omagh for the LCC Group Tyrone Intermediate Football Championship final between Galbally Pierces and Pomeroy Plunkets. Earlier on this afternoon, Rock secured the junior football title with a 3-point victory over a battling Kildress side. But here we're ready for the main event of the afternoon. Galbally chasing their first ever intermediate football title, and the men from Pomeroy, well, they're oil hands when it comes to the championship, of course, as well, winning the intermediate title in 67, 91, 2004 and 2016, and going so close, of course, a few years ago in the senior football championship as well. Well, I'm delighted to have Mark Hart with me this afternoon. Once again, we had Mark, of course, for a senior quarter-final a few weeks ago as well. And Mark, this is what it's all about. It's a glorious day, conditions absolutely perfect, underfoot conditions perfect as well for this one, and two teams just brimming with talent.
Absolutely, Paddy. It's a mouthwatering clash we have in store here. We had an awful couple of days weather there, but it has settled down overnight. It's absolutely perfect. There's a bounce in Omagh pitch, and two teams who know each other inside out. They're not only neighbours, but they're big footballing rivals as well. You have Galbally at top, sitting proud at top of the Division 2 table, looking very much like an up through the league route. Pomeroy sitting third there as well, and maybe had lost a few games due to county player involvement and starred games, things like that. So on paper, I know a lot of people are tipping Galbally, and they are the bookies' favourites here, but if there is a team who could get under their skin and who they know they're going to have to battle all the way with, it probably is their near neighbours, Pomeroy Plunkets, Paddy.
Well, there's no doubt that young man currently kicking the ball there, Conor Donaghy, with 118, the top scorer in the Intermediate Football Championship, could play a pivotal role this afternoon. But we are told there's a couple of changes to the Galbally lineup. That veteran 36-year-old Kieran McCrory has come in for number 2, Aidan Carberry, and number 20, Cormac Donnelly, who scored 1-2 in the championship so far, comes in to replace Mark Donnelly, who believe is a bit of an injury concern. We haven't those changes on the board for you. We've just literally got them. But John Moylan there, he's got a lot of experience to call on there, hasn't he, Mark? And you know, those names have been around the block for a few years, along with some of the younger lads who enjoyed success at under 21 level not that long ago.
Absolutely. Galbally is just brimming with confidence at the minute in terms of their football and ability. They see a new wave of talent coming through, and the two changes you name, Paddy, for example, Kieran McCrory and cornerback does not weaken the Galbally defence. In fact, it possibly strengthens it. Yep. And you also have Cormac Donnelly. Cormac Donnelly, not only an extremely intelligent player, but a dead ball specialist as well. He can drill 45s over at his ease, so that does not weaken the thing at all. And then you have the veteran Paul Rafferty to come in, who's always good to win a free or take a man on and get a score himself. So you have that on one side. On the other side then for Pomeroy, most of their main men are starting, but you have the likes of 18 there of Kieran McKenna, who's an experienced head to come in, Justy McCaffrey, who was in and around the team that won it a couple of years ago too. So you have a lovely blend of youth and experience on both sides here, and it's a hard one to call.
Absolutely. The big story, of course, of the week was Frank Burns getting cleared to play, of course, after sending off in the Owen Rose game. We felt that night perhaps it was rather harsh. We covered the game and we felt ourselves perhaps it was rather harsh, but it went through the process and ended up with the DRA yesterday. And perhaps, well, he's getting his chance this afternoon, and no doubt he has scored 1-5 in the championship so far, and he'd be delighted to try and add to that this afternoon, Mark.
Yeah, Frank's a massive player for Pomeroy, and it's really, really crucial for them that he's there. But I think as well, it might sound strange to say, but I don't think that harms Galbally in terms of, obviously he can do damage, but psychologically, if you're going into a game and you knew Frank Burns wasn't playing, I think that adds more pressure to these young Galbally players, which they could do without. They now know Pomeroy are at full strength. They now know they're going to have to go and win the thing. So in a peculiar way, I think that just lets Galbally know that here we're up again it and we've got to go for it. So there's no doubt Frank can have a big impact for Pomeroy, but I do feel that it levels the playing field, and maybe just still with the balance tipping slightly towards Galbally.
So much experience in this Pomeroy side, of course, as well. As we said, Mark, it's not that long ago they were playing in the senior championship and perhaps unlucky against Errigal.
Yeah, they were. I mean, they had a massive run, and it kind of came off the back of the intermediate success. They won the Ulster Club in 2016. I was fortunate enough to be involved with them myself that year, and they absolutely kicked on. They came into the new season full of confidence, and I suppose as an Errigal man, we were extremely nervous that night because they gave it their fill. They pushed us right to the wire, and they'll be very, very disappointed to have gone down because they would feel they have the player personnel well capable of competing in Division 1. So both these teams are in that position actually. Both teams will feel we are a Division 1 team, and the likelihood is that one or both of them will go up this season, but it's that next year that seems to be so important. But that's out the window now, Paddy. There's silverware on offer. The Paddy Cullen Cup, I can see a gleaming over there on the far side, and one of Ryan Lahern or Sean Murphy is going to be climbing these steps to lift that. So promotion will do for another day. This is all about the taking the intermediate title here today.
Yeah, Galbally, of course, well placed in terms of the league, of course, as well. Perhaps they have one hand already on promotion. And just on about the captains there, Ryan Lahern, 23 years of age, you know, a young man leading the team of such experience. It's a testament to the progress he has made over the years as well.
Absolutely. Ryan calibre was never in question, and I suppose when you do allow for the fact that the two Burnses and the two McGearys are involved in the Tyrone setup, maybe Marty Begley, Brian McGuckin and Evander Kilpatrick have said we'd probably need a captain there who's there training with Pomeroy night in, night out, and maybe the next generation coming through are the likes of your Ryan Begleys and Ryan Lahern, obviously, who's now the captain. You still have the likes of experienced players in Denver Nugent and Kieran McKenna, as I mentioned, but they're probably looking to inspire the new generation coming through, so I'm not one bit surprised to see Ryan leading Pomeroy today.
Well, you just look at the squad, look at that the number in that Galbally squad. They're a tight unit there, and John Moylan has pulled them really together, a mixture of young and old, and a new man perhaps at the helm. Was in the club, of course, he's a Cork man, but married to a local lady, of course. But he's brought that whole unit together, and the likes of Kevin Kelly and Paddy Kelly and Larry Murphy and people like that have been around the club for years, nurturing this side from under 12. It's 12, 13 years ago. I remember talking to Kevin Kelly, part of the backroom team, and Kevin talked about, we've some bunch of young lads coming through. And you think to yourself at that time, as you know, Mark, you think, well, of course, every club's got a lot of lads. They knew at that time that a special talent coming through there.
No doubt. Galbally have this production line in Galbally has been in the making now, as you say, for 10 years. There's massive work going on underage. They have an envious setup down there in terms of the quality of their pitches, the floodlights that they have, and maybe John Moylan's coming in a nice position in that he has a support network there of day in the wool Galbally men behind him, but he's maybe just that wee bit detached because he is coming in from outside the county, although he's married into it, so he can make maybe those tough decisions that maybe don't always be the easiest or go down the best if you're an inside man managing your own. So they've a lovely combination. They've blazed the trail through Division 2 this year, Paddy. They're proudly sitting top of the league and looking very strong for promotion through that door as well, but that's not their focus today. Their focus today is 1 hour of championship football to win the cup. Well,
the man with the cap there, and Kilpatrick came into the Pomeroy setup, of course, after a couple of good years with Berra as well. His influence is important today because everyone in Pomeroy looks up to him. He's from that generation that got to an All-Ireland final in '86. Was maybe the stepping stone of the success of Tyrone in later years, of course, as well. And a lot of people say, you're back with your own club where you belong, and a man like that's inspirational. No doubt about it, and his own son is involved in the panel and playing here today too, Paddy. But Enda Kilpatrick, I suppose, for Pomeroy was flying the flag as an inter-county player when very few else were doing it in the club. Now I suppose they've all the spoils, I suppose, with the two McGearys and the two Burnses. It's no longer that big a jump for a Pomeroy player to now play for the county. So, but I've no doubt that Enda, whenever he was a player, was inspiring this current generation to come through and to go that extra level. He's now back in his own club where he belongs, and he's no doubt about it. He's a very calm influence along the sideline. And Pomeroy, I suppose, if you are comparing and contrasting the two teams, Galbally have the momentum, Galbally have the underage development coming through, but Pomeroy have been to this level before, Paddy, and they have won this tournament and this competition on 4 occasions. Galbally have never won it, so there will be some nerves in the young Galbally players. Now, if they do get a good start, they're capable of really causing Pomeroy massive problems here, but Pomeroy won't panic. They know they've done the business before. They don't tend to lose too many finals, Pomeroy, either, Paddy, and that might play on the young Galbally minds as well, but the potential for a massive game and a brilliant game is really, really building up nicely for us here. Pre-match parade, which is a nice touch on junior and intermediate final day, because perhaps on occasions these games can be just maybe forgotten about. But just look at the crowd. The stand's almost filled to capacity there today. Tyrone well filled as well on this near side where we are today. Absolutely wonderful conditions. Starting to cloud over perhaps a wee bit more than it had been earlier on, and more rain perhaps on the way. But underfoot conditions absolutely superb as well, and that's very important because with the rain that fell over the last maybe 24 hours, I think everybody was expecting conditions to be very, very difficult.
Absolutely. There was a question mark over the game, Paddy, but I suppose the big thing is that you have to pay tribute to the grounds people here in Omagh and Healy Park in particular. They have it absolutely immaculate. There's no breeze worth talking about. The flag, the tricolour is just flopping dead pretty much there, so it won't affect shooting. So there's no such thing as a game of two halves here. It's going to be open football. There's going to be opportunities for both sides, and the excuses are really out the window. You couldn't have asked for a better day at the start of October here than what we've got, and both teams will realise that. There's an important job for Fergal Ward in the middle of the field too, a club man of my own, that he marks his, he stamps his authority on the game but lets it flow at the same time. Fergal's an extremely sensible referee. He's an experienced linesman and umpires either side of him to help him there as well. We wish him the best luck. We wish both teams the best luck, and I think it's a mouth-watering game we're very much looking forward to.
Absolutely. We're here in association on Tyrone GATV with Todd's Leap, and of course you'll hear from our sponsors at half-time as well. Bumper crowd gathered, conditions perfect, and just a note as well, some people may have seen the match programme that Eamon McHugh was to do this particular game today, but Fergal Ward has stepped in with Eamon, saying that he perhaps had done a couple of finals and felt maybe he wanted to let someone else have a go, which is a magnanimous for the man as well. Looking at the lineups there, age differences not, when you look at maybe the average age, Pomeroy slightly older, but a fine mix of youth and experience on both sides, a scattering of experienced men. Martin McCreasy, the goalkeeper for Pomeroy, he's been around the block, 42 years of age, but showing no sign of wilting there, and Denver Nugent there in the back line, an experienced core there to your side at the very back, which will be vitally important against the Galbally forward unit that scored 653, 640 indeed of that coming in just 2 games against Strabane, and of course in the second game against Ahern.
Yeah, I think that Greencastle game was Galbally's most important one, Paddy, because they blitzed.
It got them back on ground
absolutely
again.
They blitzed Strabane and Ahern, and sometimes you can flag yourself up as championship contenders too early, and the next thing the pressure's on you for a young team like they have. So the Greencastle game really was a test where they had to go to the wire, and fair play to Greencastle for putting it up to them. I think that'll stand Galbally in good stead going into this final. It has maybe brought the expectation level slightly down. But you look at Pomeroy as well. I mean, Pomeroy, they had a handy win, I suppose, over Newton Stewart. But the Loch McCrory game, Paddy, where they were down to 12 men, I mean, if ever questions were asked of a team's character and their ability to grind out a draw on that occasion and win the replay, Pomeroy showed that in spades, that they have serious character in that dressing room. And then they had a battle to get over Owen Rose as well. So I think both teams.
A good Owen Rose side, of course, too. People
absolutely.
Maybe underestimated, but you'd the national top scorer.
Yeah, well, I think people would have, have that opinion where if you stop Cathal McShane, you stop Owen Rose. But it's far from the case. Cathal McShane's an outstanding footballer at every level, but they have a lot of good players around him as well. So it's a bit insulting to go down that way. But the semi-finals, and it's particularly for Galbally to have won so easy the first 2 games, that semi-final victory to scrape through what was a real ground, as you say, it was very important for them coming into this final, and I think there's no doubt probably that the 2 best teams in the division are contesting the final today, Paddy.
Well, I know we're going to have a moment's silence for the deceased members of all the clubs in the county, of course, who have passed away over the past year. That'll be followed by a Ron Naveen.
Shanchira, Shanchira.
conditions perhaps changing slightly. It's starting to cloud over a wee bit, and certainly it won't be as warm maybe as it was for the first game. And if you're only joining us, Rock secured the junior football title with a 3-point victory over neighbours Kildress. They had trailed by 4 points at one stage in the first half, and indeed just after the second half in the third quarter they found themselves 4 points down again, but Aidan McGardy's goal steered them in the right direction. And Martin Hackett and the boys are up the road celebrating now, and I would say the celebrations will go long into the night at their wonderful new facilities up there at Rock. Pomeroy are also developing facilities, and they would dearly love to have a piece of silverware on the mantelpiece when they head back up the road, of course, and open that new facility sometime early in the new year. But the side's getting ready to line out. Fergal Ward is the man in the middle, ready for the throw in here. The customary shaking of hands and that, and Mark will keep us an eye on in terms of the positional switches and the bits and pieces that are sure to happen. You could be nearly assured of it before we even start here, that there'll be a bit of to and froing and the usual bits and pieces. And wouldn't be surprised perhaps if this game maybe doesn't live up to expectations, unfortunately, Mark, as well, because this could be a rather heavier battle, perhaps, maybe less open football. We hope we're proved wrong, but it could just head that direction.
Yeah, there'll be a serious competitive edge to the game, Paddy, there's no doubt about it, and nerves will play their role too.
Game on here at Healy Park, and immediately the ball picked up by Pomeroy, who are shooting into the Gorton Road end of the ground here at Omagh. Possession, of course, and early a good start would be key as Gavin Goodfellow lays the ball out there to Ronan Duffin, a fine young footballer emerging from the Rock side. But again, that man we talked about at the start, Kieran McCrory, making his mark there, coming out. Late replacement, the 36-year-old, but immediately winning possession, laying it there to Ronan Nugent. Nugent has a bit of space to try and get the ball into, and it has found its way to Mark Lennon. Not a great pass from Lennon, but puts his own man under a bit of pressure, but good recovery. Back to the midfielder, Enda McGardy, one of the joint captain, I suppose, of the Galbally side. And the ball will run out this near side once again, and McGardy, they're going to be steady in their build-up here. Daniel Kerr, a lot expected of him this evening, or this afternoon. Kerr continues his run, will lay the ball off outside to Sean Murphy. Murphy gets the shot away, looked to have picked up a bit of a knock there as he released that ball, and he's in trouble there, Mark.
Yeah, he definitely, just as he was about to strike the ball, he got challenged from the side. Fergal Ward, the referee, felt it was a fair challenge. I suppose we hope that Sean Murphy's okay here. Number one, you know, that player welfare is important, but he's also the Galbally captain here. He'd be a proud Galbally man leading his team out, and with hardly any time, you have a minute and a half on the clock, Paddy. It's definitely worrying from a Galbally point of view, and especially for Sean Murphy here. But one of the key battles that we saw there, that one between Daniel Kerr, number 11 for Galbally, and Q Pat McGeary, number 3 for Pomeroy, that is the makings of a mouthwatering clash. And Q Pat slipped that time, and Daniel was just bearing down on goals to set up that chance for Sean Murphy, but unfortunately for Galbally, the first chance slipped wide.
Well, and Murphy back up onto his feet again. I think it was maybe the initial knock, maybe shook him a wee bit. He's back up on his feet again and showing no ill effects at this stage, at least as Pomeroy come forward down this near side. The man who perhaps wasn't to play a part, but well, we always felt he was going to be involved at some stage. Frank Burns lays it back to Woods. This is progression from the men in those familiar amber and black jerseys. The ball back, it comes again to Ronan McNamee. Back again, out it comes the whole way to Ryan Bagley. They're not just able to break down this Galbally defence just yet. Burns out the far side. He's got a couple of men over them. For Nugent's made a great run through the outside there. Nugent punched the ball over the bar. And it's not bad when you have a man of 36 years of age at corner back coming forward and knocking that one over the bar. Obviously not playing at corner forward, playing a more advanced role, but the number 2 in his back. He loves going forward, and a fine opening score. Yeah,
Denver number 2, but he has played a lot of his football at wing half back, Paddy, and he loves bombing forward. And I'd say you'd have got decent odds now on the first scorer of the intermediate final being Denver Nugent, but he'd not mind me saying that. That was a very sensible decision to fist the ball over the bar.
Yeah, lovely take in the middle of the park by Burns as well. His influence could play a massive part this afternoon here at Omagh. Duffin steadies himself and looks to see his other options on, and cuts back inside again on the ball now with Aidan Woods, which scored a crucial point against Loughmacrory to save his side in the championship. Lays the ball forward into the path there of the midfielder, and that ball has went over the bar courtesy of the captain there, Ryan Lougharn.
Inspirational.
2 points.
Great
to no
score there from Ryan, and again a very direct, I suppose, run with pace by Aidan Woods. He laid it off at the right time, and Ryan has that in his locker, Paddy. He can take scores from 35 metres at his ease.
Yeah, and as you said, Mark, earlier on, it's probably one of the reasons why he is the captain of the side. There's a man down, looks to be in trouble, and it looks to be the influential Ronan Nugent there has picked up some sort of knock. I think he might have rolled his ankle. I think nothing more than that, but we'll wait to see what develops in that as the play moves through the halfway line. It's pacey, or slow rather, going forward there. Mulgrew out that far side will take the return pass. Seamus Og Mulgrew looks back to see is there options on, and then it's forward to Conor Donnelly. Donnelly number 3 in his back, but away out on that far side in the wide open spaces of Oma. Mulgrew again lays it back, but it's a wee bit of a witty pass there, and a lot of work to do on that far side for Donnelly. He's well hemmed in there. There's a lot of amber and black jerseys to try and get past. It's laboured as Mark Lennon picks it up and then releases Conor Quinn. Quinn steadies himself, gets the ball inside, but mopping up the danger there once again. These Pomeroy men so good with game management, and they're on the break here once again. The ball picked up by Gavin Goodfellow. Goodfellow lays it back. Aidan Woods steadies himself. He's knocked in the back as he releases the shot though, but the ball has went wide, and Ray McGuckin and Kilpatrick here on the sideline.
Marty Bagley
there too, of course, yeah.
They'll be delighted, Paddy, with this start. Pomeroy, really, I suppose a lot of the talk has been about Galbally, and I think Galbally have started fairly nervously here. 5 minutes on the clock, and they'll be just looking for a wee settler, any sort of a free, just something simple to get them up and going, because Pomeroy have come out and they've really went for this game, and they've got a couple of early scores. And
Mulgrew has been a lot on the ball, and there's Burns back again, deep inside his own half there, mopping up any loose ball, playing that sweeping role that he's been so effective doing during the championship this year. They pick up a couple of cards during the campaign, of course, as well. Didn't stand him when he got that red in the semi-final, but things reversed as Pomeroy go on the offensive again, threading the pass out this near side. Still a bit of work to do in the corner by Oliver McCreesh, their top scorer with a goal and 13 points. He'd like to get a score on the board early on too. Goodfellow, who's been very, very busy so far. Again, the ball moved laterally across the pitch, and Denver Nugent again striding forward, 45 metres out, and wants to return pass. Looked to have touched it there, but mobbing up the loose ball into McGardy. McGardy, not a great ball from McGardy, but the benefit of the doubt goes with the man attacking the ball, and it's going to be a free out for Galbally. A chance for him to relieve a wee bit of pressure, because despite the fact that it's early stages yet, they do look a wee bit unsteady with themselves, and as you said, passes they got are not going to help them, as is picked up once again by that man Burns.
Yeah, Frank has played that role for Tyrone over the last couple of years at times as well, Paddy, just sweeping in front of that full back line, and what a diagonal ball to Gavin Goodfellow.
Super pass to Goodfellow, and he goes to ground, and a chance here for Ollie McCreesh to pop this one over the bar. He's already the gloves off, he's ready getting himself geared up for this one, but it's Pomeroy be happy with the start. They're 2 points to the good up, but they've been more assured in what they're doing as well, and they've settled.
Yeah, absolutely, and I can see the Mayor Fournier from Galbally out here trying to raise them and trying to get something moving here, because a lot of their players are walking, a lot of their players just haven't got up to the speed, where that's nerves for young players, or whether it's just that they're trying to get a touch and it hasn't happened for them yet. But the 2 or 3 attacks they've had, Paddy, they've played diagonal balls in. Frank Burns has read both of them, and that set up this score for Ollie McCreesh.
Yeah, you'd put your house on Ollie McCreesh, the form he's been in this year, and they're 3 points up, and certainly happy with that, and that's the first point from a free, and we've played almost 8 minutes. The scoreboard will tell you it's Pomeroy 3, Galbally still the score here, and a bit of pressure put on Mark Lennon down this near side, but he releases the pass, and now Galway will try and get things moving, but they just can't hold on to the ball at the moment. Liam Rafferty, such a wonderful young footballer, made his mark with Tyrone this year, of course, as well. Again, they're patient in the build-up. They're not rocking and rolling, I suppose, at this early stage. Now they have an opportunity here as Daniel Kerr picks it up. He's got a goal net in the championship, continues his run. He's got a couple of options. The ball will come across the face of the goal. The referee, has he stopped the play? No. It continues on, and the goalkeeper does well. There looked to be a man. There is a man down in that far side. There was a hesitation from everybody there for the split second, and perhaps that maybe rocked him a wee bit, because the number 20, Cormac Donnelly, had made a great run inside and screaming for the ball.
Yeah,
the delivery perhaps wasn't the best.
And the more worrying thing, I think, than the chance going astray there is that it's actually Daniel Kerr, I think, who's down injured here. In the first few minutes of this game, he has taken on Q-Pat McGeary a couple of times, and he showed electric pace coming in along that end line. He wasn't just happy to tap it over that time, Paddy. He spotted Cormac Donnelly at the back post. I think Cormac maybe thought he had more time than what he actually had.
Yeah, it seemed to be something there, yeah.
Yeah, he would delay it, and I think if he'd caught it and pulled the trigger, or even trying to palm it in, maybe he was a wee bit far out for that, but there was a definite scoring opportunity there. They tried to work a goal which would have put the teams on level pegging, I suppose, but Galbally just need any score here at the minute, because again another attack has come. It hasn't resulted in anything, and you're almost 10 minutes on the clock here. So
Martin McCree seems to be in a bit of bother there. Michaela McGuigan there with him, the physio, of course, former member of the Tyrone Ladies senior set up there, and well, Martin seems to be in some discomfort, and they are warming up their second choice keeper there, Anthony McKenna, on the far side. So this is worrying. Perhaps the veteran could be in trouble here. Brian McGurkin over there having a check with him as well. But well, Frank Burns overseeing proceedings too.
yeah,
Good crowd gathered, and well, an element of concern here, because they are going to have to make that change by the looks of things. Mark.
Yeah, and Anthony McKenna coming in actually is a very experienced player. He's been the backup there to John McCourt. He's now the backup to Martin McCree. So he has been thereabouts in terms of playing for Pomeroy over the last number of years. He's a sensible head, and it's very, very unfortunate now for Martin McCree that it looks like his county final is cut short after only 10 minutes here.
He seemed to fall awkwardly more than anything else, Mark.
Yeah, well, he was coming out with the ball, and I think there was a challenge that came in, and it's just hard to tell from this far away, I suppose, what the nature of the injury is. We just all hope that it's nothing too serious, I suppose, but the signs on the sideline with Anthony McKenna warming up and really going through a bit of a rigorous warm-up there would be that unfortunately Martin McCree's 2019 intermediate final is coming to a premature end here.
Looks to be a thigh injury, probably more a dead leg than anything else, but maybe he's going to think of going on here, is he? Because
well, they're doing the right thing in that they're giving him every opportunity, and Fergal Ward's a very calm referee, and Fergal's not putting him under any pressure here to get up. But it's a shame that it is going to end up in probably him going off here. But again,
I think he is going off, and seems that looked to be a lot of activity on the bench there now.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's very disappointing now from Martin's point of view that he's just not able to shake this injury off. But I think in terms of the game, actually, it'll do Galbally no harm just to have a wee pause here at the minute, because the opening 11 minutes, the momentum has really been with Pomeroy, and they've gone for Galbally's throats in terms of their attacks. They've had a couple of very good counter-attacks there. Frank Burns is cleaning up as a sweeper. And
that's sad to see.
It really is, yeah. It's very disappointing, especially for somebody coming at any stage getting injured this early, but for somebody at 42 years of age to step up and take the number 1 jersey again, and the dream day, I suppose, in the county final, to have it last only 10 minutes is very unfortunate, and we wish him well, but we also wish Anthony McKenna well as he comes in. I'm sure he'll be nervous. He probably wasn't expecting to be used at all today, so he has got to get his head into the game pretty early here too, that he needs to use his kickouts well, he needs to use possession well, and I think Frank will give him an early touch just to get used to possession here.
I think as well, Mark, nowadays I suppose that every player's so much involved in all their game plans and everything, and they really know they can just fit in there, so maybe not as difficult as it would have been maybe years ago for a goalkeeper to come in and maybe hasn't kicked the ball all year.
Yeah, that's it, and Anthony's a calm head. He's been about the squad for a good number of years now, and I don't think he'll be overawed by the occasion.
Well, Woods misplaced his diagonal pass there on this occasion, and mopping up that loose ball is Rafferty. An early score here on the board now after the new goalkeeper in perhaps would be key, but again Burns there mopping up everything that comes his way. He hasn't missed the ball so far as Kim has direction, and he looks so cool onto the ball there.
Galbaly's probably going to have to change tactics a bit here, Paddy, and run the ball through that middle part of the field and maybe draw Frank out, because he's too intelligent a player for that. They're kicking diagonal balls in towards the D, and he's cut out 3 now in a row.
Brenton Burns, nice interchange play with him and Gavin Goodfellow. He takes the return pass and flashes that shot in and flashes that shot over the bar, and an excellent point there from Burns, and they really started off very well here, and they show no signs of wilting even after just 13 and a bit minutes.
Yeah, they'd be delighted. And on a personal note, I suppose, to see Brandon Burns back out. I know he went through the horrible cruciate that a number of players have suffered, I suppose, but he just kept the head down. He worked his way back. He's normally a tight mark and corner back, but Pomeroy maybe are seeing that there's an opportunity to play him further out the field, and he showed just there now with the outside of the boot. He's more than capable of taking a score, and they've opened up a nice 4-point lead here, Paddy.
Yeah, that's and great, as you said there, Brenton back in action again. The pass wasn't great there through the middle, and it was easily intercepted again. And Pomeroy are so assured of themselves there with the ball. They're so comfortable at this early stage, and taking away the loose pass there, Hugh Pat McGeary. Early touch for him as well. Wriggles away from the defender following him out there, man trying to close him down, and it's not really working at this stage. And Kieran McGeary goes in the offensive end again with the ball in hand and toe and driving forward, looking up to see his options on. Thought about the shot, laid it back to his captain Lougharn, and on this occasion Lougharn's effort has curled wide.
Yeah, disappointing from Ryan there, actually, because
he done everything right.
He did, absolutely. I thought he was going to pull the trigger a wee bit far out, but he bounced, he settled himself, and it was probably an easier opportunity than the one he put over a number of minutes ago there, Paddy. So, that would have extended the lead out to 5, and Galbally are a wee bit nervous looking here at the minute. They haven't got on the board at all. They're playing the occasion possibly more than the match at the minute, Paddy.
Which was a worry that they had.
Absolutely, and it was that occasion, it was that pressure of everybody talking about them, but I think if they do get a score or two here, they will settle down, and they have a seriously potent attack, so they just need 1 or 2 scores to get them going. This man here, Daniel Kerr, he's more than capable of doing something like that.
Well, Kerr, nice bit of play there between him and Murphy, and a couple of men off his shoulder. Ronan Nugent now gets a shot away. Ronan Nugent effort. The umpires have a look, and the umpires raise the flag, and the first score for Galbally is down to their centre half-back, Ronan Nugent. That's his 1-5 he has scored in the championship to date, and they'll be delighted to get that score, a settling score we often talk about, and they'll be so glad to get that one. Ronan Nugent on target with that one from distance. Now can they want a bit of possession around the middle of the park as well. This is better from them. The ball inside to Declan Murphy. Declan Murphy's a man of his shoulder, McCarty. Murphy goes from distance, and another score within quick succession. And as John Moylan indicates there on the sideline, that's what he wants to see from his side, because that's what they're so good at doing.
Yeah, that's a massive switch there now. What should have been a simple score from Ryan Lougharn there a minute ago, Paddy, to go 5-0 up. In 1 minute, Galbally have now got 2 points, and even looking at the body language now and listening to the roar from the crowd, they were just dying for them to give something to get the crowd into this game, and now Galbally have all the momentum.
Oh, absolutely. Another good piece of play there. Connor Donnelly knocking it down there into the path of Rafferty and taking the return, and then back to Declan Murphy, the man that scored that point a matter of seconds ago. Now they've got their tails up. They're on a bit of an adventure forward once again. Nugent, the man that opened the scoring for them, has possession on that far side. Been shadowed, been pushed out, but still manages to get the shot away. It's a tight angle, it's an acute angle, and it has gone wide, but they are winning possession now that they hadn't been doing, and that is pivotal for them. Nugent back into action again. The goalkeeper is Anthony McKenna, a late replacement there coming on to replace Martin McCreesh, and you can see Martin there getting some treatment from Michaela McGuigan there on the bench. He looks to be in some discomfort, shall we say, from that injury he sustained. The ball breaks around the middle of the park once again. Again, it's Mulgrew who takes it away, and that man's getting a lot on the ball now. McGardy. It's 3 or 4 times now he's been in the ball, and something has come off it. He's a free now, and Nugent takes it out the near side to Daniel Kerr, and Daniel Kerr looks up to see as their options on. Slips on the surface absolutely perfect here this afternoon. As Mark said, the ground staff pulled out all the stops. Liam Rafferty gets the shot away, and has it went wide again? It has back-to-back wides for them. But they're getting the ball now, Mark, that they hadn't been doing.
They are, and the Pomeroy kick-out is actually under a bit of pressure here, Paddy, too. Anthony McKenna has a decent left-footed strike, but they always tend to come out this side here, which means that Galbally are getting a read on his kick-outs. Now, I see him looking across to the stand side now, but his traditional kick with the left foot is here, so he gets a short away to Frank that time. But the last couple he's put out, Galbally have been onto them, and they've kept the possession. And that's a good turnover as well, Paddy.
A good turnover from Cormac Donnelly. Done very well, and gets the ball to Rafferty down this near side and gets a free for his trouble. But that was good piece of play there from Cormac Donnelly, the late replacement for Mark Donnelly.
But it's funny, Paddy, how one miss at one side can just change things, you know. And Pomeroy were cruising, they were 4-0 up, a simple enough opportunity to go 5-0 up. Galbally get a settler of a score from the kick out, they get 2 in a row, and now all the momentum's with them. It's a 2-point game, and they've actually missed a couple of opportunities to get level here, but the Pomeroy kick out is definitely under a bit more pressure here now, and Galbally have their tails up.
Cormac Donnelly with a free. And you can hear from the crowd that he has certainly made his mark with that one. Excellent score from him. And now it's just remarkably a 1-point game after the dominance that they had, that Pomeroy had in the opening 15 minutes. It has all changed.
Yeah, absolutely. And Cormac Donnelly, I suppose it's one of the things he's in the team for. His place kicking is absolutely supreme. He can float 45s for fun, Paddy, and he just literally stroked that one over the bar, just and a 1-point game.
But the nonchalant style of Joe McMahon there from a time back, of course, as well.
That's very nonchalant.
Laid back almost to Ryan Bagley, forward into space. And the man on the ball now is Aidan Woods. Woods shirks off the attention to the defender, goes to ground just inside the D. And despite the fact that Galbally defenders throw their hands on their heads in disgust, that it is a free and it will be a chance for, well, I think you're going to leave it to Kieran McGeary from close range to pop this one over the bar to open the gap back out to 2. But it's been closer perhaps in the last couple of minutes than it had been in the opening exchanges. And Galbally have hauled themselves back into this one. Great atmosphere here today. All the kids behind those goals, they're really enjoying the occasion here as McGeary steps up to hit this one. And near enough as expected, McGeary has popped that one over the bar. 5 points to 3 points. Good score from McGeary, but it's okay, I suppose, saying they're tap overs, but you still have to score them, Mark, as you well know. And as a former free taker yourself, it's just not all as simple as it look.
No, and sometimes there's more pressure on the ones you should score, Paddy, so that was an important score. A brilliant bit of play from Aidan Woods. Aidan Woods is a very, very pacey, direct player. He won the free with his direct running, and Kieran McGeary does not miss really opportunities like that.
And there's another man with a direct run on Denver Nugent going forward as well, but the attacker didn't read the script there, and out the ball comes out this near side once again. McGeary coming more and more into the game as well as it progresses. We've hit the 20-minute mark, 10 minutes or so to go in this first half of the LCC Group Tyrone Intermediate Football Championship decider here at Healy Park. Perfect conditions underfoot and weather-wise as well after some shocking weather over the past 24 hours. Galbally going forward down this near side. They've hauled themselves back into this game. They were 4 points to no score down, but a brisk brace of points pulled them back into contention, and now they're going to try and close that gap once again as Rafferty has the ball on that far side. Rafferty launches it long. A 5th point in the championship for Rafferty. Excellent finish from him. And, well, you need sort of leaders on the day, Mark, and that's a leader there in the making. Yeah,
that's an inspirational score from Liam Rafferty there. Just exactly what Galbally needed at the right time, too. He came up and there was nothing else on, and he had the belief in himself, Paddy, to settle himself and just float over a lovely score. And again, it's back to a 1-point game. Aidan Woods, I have to say, is showing very strong out in front in the half-forward line here for Pomeroy too, Paddy.
Yeah, working really, really hard. He gets a great ball through the middle. Here's a chance perhaps for Pomeroy. It goes to Oliver McCreash. McCreash closed in there. He went down under pressure. The ball spins away. And the defender there, the big full-back, Conor Donnelly, comes out with the Pomeroy fans not happy with that. No. A wee bit of afters up there as well. But certainly the challenge went in. McCreash on another day perhaps. Well, wait to see. There's a man down this near side as well. I think it's one of the Galbally midfielders. We'll wait to see how that develops. He seems to have picked up a knock as the play continues to Donnelly in this corner, the top side. Perhaps the wetter part of the pitch, the only wet part off the field here at Omagh. Back it comes to Daniel Kerr. Tried to shirk off the attention to the defender. Gets it back to Sean Murphy. Murphy under a bit of pressure now. 2 men. Burns closing them down. Everybody sort of tied up in that top corner. Back it comes to the number 6, Nugent. Nugent steadies himself. Thought about the shot and then hands the ball. Well, he looked to throw the ball away there at one stage, but Declan Murphy picked it up, and the number 9, Enda McGardy, picks it up now. Takes the return, shoots, delivers. Excellent equalising point for Galbally Pierces. Back in level terms, and certainly deserved that one. Fine point there for the midfielder.
Yeah, again, Paddy, I think I would like to see that Ollie McCreash chance for a goal there, because I know the Pomeroy ones weren't happy with it, but Ollie McCreash is such an intelligent player, the wee dummy inside, but I think it was actually the experienced Kieran McCreary that got back just at the right time to put enough pressure on Ollie. 50-50 call maybe on a penalty. Fergal didn't give it this time, and Galbally go up to the other end of the field and work a very good score. And you know, this thing is really coming to the boil here nicely before half time, Paddy.
It's opening up. Ryan Begley lays the ball back again. McGeary shirks off the attention of a defender but loses possession of the ball, and then onto the challenge goes the number 4 there for Galbally, Herson.
There's a booking coming here
I
for
would
Ryan
think there
Begley,
is.
I think, here as well. It was just you know, it was excellent play from Shea Herson, but he kind of ducked down into the tackle, and Ryan Begley came in with a loose arm, and it looked probably worse than it was, because Shea's not the tallest fella, I suppose, but he was really brave going in for that ball there after the dispossession on Kieran McGeary, and a bit of frustration maybe from Ryan Begley now puts him on a dodgy ground, because he's sort of man marking Liam Rafferty here. He's wearing number 5, but the two number 5s are marking each other, Paddy, so Ryan's got to be extremely careful here, because Liam Rafferty, as we know from watching not only with Galbally but with the county this year as well, is more than capable of bombing up the field and asking questions of him, so he got to be extremely careful in every tackle he makes from this point on.
I think there's another issue there as well. By the looks of things, Galbally are considering a couple of changes, because there were Kevin Kelly and John Moylan there were in deep conversation a few moments ago, and signalled a couple of substitutes to go and warm up, so they may be contemplating a change here with 24 and a half minutes gone. 5 points apiece. It's really bubbling to the boil now, without doubt, as it's picked up by Mulgrew. Can Galbally edge themselves in front here before half time, because they really battled back into this one? Sean Murphy out that far side steadying things, and Mulgrew looked to be a challenge went in there. The referee has seen it.
Yeah, and the Pomeroy bench are irate, absolutely irate with that challenge.
Kevin Taggart over there as well. So
yeah, so Fergal's going to consult with his linesman here, but there's no doubt about it, the Pomeroy bench appear to be indicating maybe that there was an elbow raise as opposed to an arm. Fergal has taken his advice from his linesman, and again, there's a card coming, but the colour could be crucial here now.
yeah, Seamus Mulgrew it is. We'll keep a watch. It's a yellow card, and Kieran McGeary got involved there a wee bit as well with Sean Murphy, and well, nothing comes to that, but it's a yellow card for Mulgrew. So a couple of yellow cards flashed in the space of a couple of minutes, but there hasn't been a really bad tackle in this encounter. It's been decent enough football as well in the opening 25 minutes of the LCC Group Intermediate Final. It's Loughlin, the captain of this Pomeroy side, striding through. The man pushed him for sure there was Enda McCarty, and I thought the momentum was going to carry him on there, but he just couldn't get his legs under him, and at the end up and went to ground. And the free kick 47 metres out from the Gorton Road end of the ground here. Denver Nugent wants it on the far side, but I think McGeary might just have a go at this one. No, pops it through into space, picked up. Burns is in there, a couple of men, Woods as well, McCreesh. They're all sort of, the high challenge goes in there, and that's going to be a free in.
But again, Aidan Woods is such a good ball winner,
Woods
Paddy.
is sharp,
He's just raw pace, you know, and he's so brave. He'll take his man on at every opportunity, and that makes the referee answer a question. It also makes the Galbally defenders think twice about going near him. He's actually won a couple of crucial frees here. Kieran McGeary put the first one over the bar at his ease. This is, for a man of Ollie McCreesh's calibre, an easy opportunity as well. It will just push Pomeroy in the lead, but I do think, although we haven't seen an awful lot of edge, I think the longer this game goes on and it's close, Paddy, I think tensions are going to come to the fore here, because these two know each other extremely well, and they realise the stakes are extremely high.
Absolutely. And umpire signal, yep, Ollie McCreesh on target, his second point of the afternoon. And well, McCreesh doesn't miss chances like that often now, it has to be said. And right on the far side there, see Martin McCreesh still receiving treatment there as this ball works itself up the middle of the park once again. And the McGarty's been in the ball so often now. I'd love to see the stats on that, how many times he has touched the ball in this opening half. Back it comes to Rafferty. Rafferty trying to find Donnelly, late replacement for Mark Donnelly in that far side. And he cuts inside, good play. McGarty has it again. McGarty flashes the shot in and finds the target once again. An excellent second point of the afternoon for McGarty. Inspirational young man there too.
Yeah, that's a quality score, and again, the Galbally are much smarter actually as this first half has rolled on here, Paddy. The ball into Cormac Donnelly is of a lot higher quality than what it was in the first few, maybe 10-15 minutes of the game where Frank Burns was cutting them out. He won the ball, flicked it off, but from an acute angle, that's an excellent score from Enda McGarty, and we're in level pegging again in less than 3 minutes to go to the half time.
And you were spot on, Mark, as well, what you said, that they were going to have to play the ball further up the park to create the openings, and they've done that on several occasions here, and it's been successful for them. 6 points apiece it is at size level for just the second time in this encounter. but Pomeroy on the offensive here once again through the middle. Ball inside, this is danger. Again, it's the high ball coming in, and McGeary pops that one over the bar. Excellent score, and well, it's end-to-end stuff at this stage.
Yeah, that's a huge point from Q-Pat McGeary. He is such an inspirational leader. I know he's not the captain this year, but he was 3 years ago when they went on to win Ulster. But to see him driving forward, you can hear what it means to the Pomeroy support on the far side. And I suppose for that wee pocket of Tyrone, Paddy, it's been an unbelievable day. OK, Kildress were beaten, but Kildress, the Rock, Galbally and Pomeroy, you could put a blanket over the four of them there, and it's been a huge day for them. So, you know, this game is just coming nicely to the boil here. It's end-to-end stuff, and both attacks seem to have an edge on both sets of defenders here. When they do move forward and the quality of ball in is good, there's scores in both these forward attacking units. So a goal could be huge in this, Paddy, because it's been point for point so far. We've had a couple of half goal chances on each side. Nobody's hit the net yet, but if you could open up a 3-point lead here, it would be a massive boost, especially come up to half time here.
They've scored 11 goals between them. They've racked up 653 and 545 respectively. Yeah. Pomeroy with the 545. So okay, an extra game involved in that. Hey, ball in, Donnelly underneath this one. Can he get possession of it again? The ball's still in that far side, and it's going to be a free in on the far side. And a real bit of bravery there from Kerr as he collected that one. And Cormac Donnelly, he's been very, very good.
He has been, because, and I think especially as the game has went on, there's 4 minutes additional time at the end of the half here, Paddy, but Galbally have tidied up their delivery, and I think that has to be commended. The message came in from the sideline about the quality of ball going in, and they're actually cutting out Frank Burns now as opposed to him cutting out the ball. So the combination in there really between Cormac Donnelly's aerial ability and the electric pace of Daniel Kerr is a really potent mix. And then you've the likes of Sean Murphy buzzing about, and Declan Murphy as well, Liam Rafferty pushing forward, and the McGardy's pushed forward for a couple of scores. So gone are the days where 13, 14 and 15 get all the scores. I mean, you've Denver Nugent number 2 for Pomeroy, number 3 Q-Pat McGeary, Brendan Burns, who's normally a cornerback, scoring, and on the other side you've Liam Rafferty and Ronan Nugent who've come forward, and then the McGardy from the middle of the field. So there's scores coming from everywhere here today, Paddy.
Absolutely, and they're all quality scores, and that's a key thing as well to mention. You know, with all the football so far has been a poor kick out. It will be won back by the men in blue. Liam Rafferty, he's got an opening and goes for a shot himself, and it's tipped over the crossbar by the goalkeeper. Rafferty just saw the headlines there. He went straight through the middle, and an excellent score, and that puts Galbally ahead for the first time.
Yeah, and Galbally have bunched their points, Paddy. Whenever they get one, they tend to get two, and they're putting a lot of pressure here now on Anthony McKenna's kick out. And okay, the strike from Anthony, he's capable of much better, but you have to pay credit to him, because that ball could easily end up in the back of the net, and he showed a lot of agility and bravery to jump up and tip it over the bar.
Yeah, that was good stuff there from him, and super take in the middle of the park by McGardy. His influence coming more and more into the contest as well. Picked up by Kerr. Kerr from distance. What a fine score from Kerr. 3 points on the bounce, and they're now 9 points to 7 ahead. Remarkable turnaround.
Yeah, and that's the bunching of points we're talking about, Paddy. This young Galbally team are thriving off that confidence, and Brian McGuckin has raced in from the sideline, and he's shouting in messages to Anthony McKenna. They're obviously going to try and vary the kick out. I'd say you'd see the next one going out towards the stand side, because they're not getting an awful lot of joy, or trying to work it short, Paddy. The joy is not there to be had when they've gone long towards us here. The Galbally have picked out the last few.
Yes, that one there perhaps lucky as well, and they've lost almost possession. They have lost possession again, but it's won back bravely there, but almost the kick out almost cost them dear once again. The referee said there was a foul on the ball, and it's going to be a free once again to Galbally, who really have their tails up.
Yeah.
9 points to 7.
A handling error there, and I think Pomeroy would like to get to half time. Just Galbally have picked up the momentum. They're playing with a lot of pace here and a lot of confidence, and Pomeroy would do well just to stop them getting any more scores before half time, just to settle the thing down here, because they are definitely showing signs of being a wee bit nervy here, whereas Galbally have the wind in their sails, as they say, coming into injury time here, Paddy.
Half time's going to come perhaps at just the wrong time for the men in blue at this juncture, as the ball's picked up by Conor Quinn, trying to thread the pass inside there to Ronan Nugent, and umpires look, and it's a nod of the head, and that is went over the bar from Nugent, and it is now 10 points to 7, and they're playing with a great gay, I'm going to say gay band, but they're just throwing caution to the one completely. As we talked about in the build up to this game, there was going to be that sort of element that whenever Galbally get going and able to throw the ball around, they're so much better in trying to play a controlled game. They can just do it so well, but they have to defend a wee bit now in these latter stages of the half as Burns comes forward. A rare sortie forward for him, despite the fact he's wearing 14 in his back. Out this near side it comes to Duffin. He's been quiet after a brisk start to McGeary. down this near side. McGeary takes a touch and then threads the pass through inside there to Duffin once again. Under pressure, good defending. The referee says it's a free out.
Yeah, it's all Galbally at the minute here now, Paddy, and even the opportunities Pomeroy are creating, they're going down into corners and cul-de-sacs there. It's extremely hard to get rid of. They've got a lot of their joy when they've played the ball in quick to Aidan Woods and Ollie McCreesh in front of the goals, but that type of play there, that's another big turnover from Galbally, and they're just going to game manage the last minute here, hopefully get to half time from their point of view, but it's been a massive turnaround there the last 5 minutes. You had Pomeroy 1 point up and happy enough position, and now Galbally have opened up a 3-point lead, and they're coming hungry looking for more here.
Yeah, driving forward, the veteran there, McCrory, takes a touch of the ball and then lays it off again. And that man who's been so influential, McGardy, through into space. Sean Og Mulgrew. Mulgrew lays it back again. They're sort of playing tight triangles with the ball now. Back it comes to McGardy again. And McGardy goes the whole way back there to Daniel Kerr. Kerr's got a couple of options on. Decides to go down that touchline, the stand side here at Omagh. Back to McGardy. They're just toying now with Pomeroy. They want to see the half out. We've played almost the 34 minutes at the referee had called, the 4 additional minutes, and he blows the half-time whistle. And I tell you, that's been an entertaining half of football there, Mark, for sure. Especially the way that after trailing by 4 points and huffing and puffing through the mid-sector of the half, Galbally really came to life in the last maybe 5-10 minutes.
They did. Pomeroy really weren't showing signs of nerves early on. They came in as underdogs. They'd been here before, Paddy. They've won here before, so they know what it's all about. It's brand new stuff for Galbally. They're looking to win their first ever intermediate title. That brings its own nerves. There's the pressure of being favourites, which doesn't help things as well. There's the whole issue of whether Frank Burns is playing or not, and then he ends up playing. So they were nervy at the start for the first 10 minutes, but all it really took was 2 points, Paddy. One excellent score, and then they won the next kick-out to go 4-2. And then they've really kicked on after that, and they're in a very commanding position here, and you can hear the roars of the crowd from Galbally. Kevin Kelly punching their arms in the air there. They've got to be careful, because there's still a sting in this Pomeroy team. They've been there and they've done it before. Galbally haven't, but definitely on overall balance of play, you'd have to feel that a 3-point lead is an accurate reflection of the first half we've watched, Paddy.
There's no doubt about that, and I think without doubt as well that a goal in this game, either way, will have a massive impact, Mark.
Yeah, I think a goal for Galbally would end this game. But I think a goal for Pomeroy would really make the nerves come to the fore for Galbally, because they can't shake Pomeroy off. So the opening exchanges of the first 5 or 6 minutes of the second half are going to be crucial. I don't know if Pomeroy are going to be able to have the luxury of playing Frank Burns at a sweeper if this thing goes to 4 points, 5 points, or they don't get back towards level terms. He's such a good scoring threat as well. They might have to push him up. They're going to try and get Kieran McGeary more on the ball. They're going to try and get more from Ryan Lougher in the middle of the field as well. But they've got to clamp down on the attack coming through from deep, because Liam Rafferty, Ronan Nugent, 2 half-backs, Paddy, have 2 points each, and you've Enda McGarty with 2 points in the middle of the field, so that's 6 points from play from 2 half-backs and 2 midfielders. That's a massive turnaround, and that's something they're going to have to work on stopping, as the runners from deep.
They're digging in as well, and the one thing about this Galbally side, Mark, we'll hear from the boys on the sideline in a moment, but there's one thing about this Galbally side, they know how to dig out games as well, as they did against Greencastle. Yeah,
well, the expectation was all on Galbally after 2 huge victories over Strabane and Ahiyarn, okay, but that sets you up for an awful fall. And Greencastle are championship experts, with Sean Teague over them as well. They were going into that game relishing the chance of taking Galbally out, and they very nearly did. So for Galbally, it was a very grounding experience. I think it did them no harm whatsoever, and I think in fact it did them an awful lot of good. And it has left them coming in here that when the nerves went, which were going to be in the first opening exchanges, they've now settled down to play some lovely football, and they've got a great balance in their full forward line for me of Cormac Donnelly in the air. He's also kicked a lovely free kick, and Daniel Kerr, okay, he's only scored 1 point, but he is electric, and he's causing Q-Pat McGeary no end of problems in there. So that there's scores coming from everywhere for Galbally, and they've found their range, especially as the first half drew to an end there, Paddy.
Absolutely, it's an entertaining game here, and all the substitutes out warming up here in the second half. You just look at the size of the squad that Galbally side have. An awful lot of numbers out there, a lot of big players there as well. And just looking there at well, Conor Donaghy now leads the way in terms of the scoring charts there, I think, after today's does he? No, he's level now on points with Cathal McShane, Ollie McCreesh closing in there as well. So a lot of things up for grab in this second half, of course, as well. I think we're ready to go to the sideline here, where Eugene McConnell has a couple of guests. We'll hear the half-time details from them. A wee bit of analysis to hear how the game has been going here. and what everybody thinks about that side on about how the game has went so far from the sideline. Over there to Eugene on the far side of the ground.
Okay, it's half time here in Healy Park in Omagh today in the LCC Group Intermediate Championship Final, and an epic battle between two local rivals, a real parish derby. We had Pomeroy getting off to a whirlwind start there, going 4 points up. Galbally have come back with an inspirational last 10-minute spell there, Joe. How have you seen the first half go there?
Just Eugene, how you said it, Pomeroy really got off to a great start. Galbally just didn't settle, and any time we got a ball, we started playing ball from the middle of the park, and Frank Burns had a field day. He was just cleaning things up. In fairness, Frank Burns took a bit of a knock, and we started playing football. We started trying to play through the lines. We got attacked their full back line, and that's how we started picking off our scores.
Yeah, it was 15 minutes into the game before Galbally registered their first point, and then came two straight after on the bounce. Then an inspirational score there from Liam Rafferty seemed to really add a spark to the Galbally attack.
I think that's what we did. Liam's an experienced player now, even though he's a young lad. He's an experienced lad now with county experience, so he knew what he had to do. He drove with the heart of the Pomeroy defence, and he took a score. And the other lads have seen the same thing to do and gone at it. I think we've got maybe 6 or 7 different scores. They're all playing well now.
Yeah, funny you were just about to say that. I think there's 6 different scores for Galbally, and they've all been top drawer in terms of, in front of the scoring zone, pop it over, take your chance, and that's what Galbally's certainly doing in the first half.
The last 15-20 minutes has shown really Galbally's been well drilled all year. The management have got them that scoring, you say the scoring zone, getting that ball into that, getting it into your scoring forwards, and we're lucky now we've got 6 forwards that are slotting them over. I think we've only got 1 from frees.
And Brendan, we'll move to Brendan Fullen here, a real Pomeroy Plunkett man through and through. Brendan, the former chairman of the club, and in centenary year, Brendan, you were the chairman of the club, and today it's a great occasion for the Plunketts to be back here in an intermediate final.
Oh, it's fantastic, Eugene, especially with the 4 Tyrone lads out there. Look, we come out of the traps. We were extremely good. We went 4 up. We lost Martin McCrish, our number 1 keeper. It lost the dynamics for us, and our kickouts haven't been as good. That's no fault of Anthony. He's just coming back from a cruciate knee ligament operation. We're glad to have half time come when it came. Galbaly's a good side. They're a well-drilled side. I've watched them several times this year, and they control it from the back line. And look, they're unbeaten for a reason. We're glad of the half-time whistle. We're glad we can in and we'll regroup. We'll come out good in the second half.
I'm just thinking here, Brendan, it was 1999, you captained the Plunketts in the junior final, and it's great to be back in an occasion like this here with the atmosphere and the colour and the 4 teams really that are making up the junior and intermediate final today. It's been a real special occasion for that whole sort of catchment area in round Pomeroy, Kildress, the Rock, and of course Galbally.
Look, sure, at Omagh today, there's nobody in them places. It would be the perfect opportunity for the criminal to take the white transit van and raid a few houses. But that's why we're all here. That's what GAA football's all about. So it is. It's about community spirit, and anything happens, it's the GAA involvement that makes it happen. So it does.
Well, how do you see the second hand panning out here, Brendan?
Look, I think we'll be all right. I think we'll come out again. We're glad of half time, as I've said. We'll go in, we'll reshape, and hopefully Frank seems to be carrying an injury there, and Joe here hit on it, and hopefully Michaela McGuigan, who's the physio, get a bit of work on him, and hopefully he'll come good in the second half for us.
And from Galbally to finish off, Joe, Galbally have finished strong in the first half there. Do you think they can move on into the second half just where they have finished off and kill out the game?
I think that's what it's going to be about. It's about just regrouping at half time. Pomeroy's going to be no different. Galbally regroup at half time. It's 0-0. Win the second half and you win the intermediate championship, and it's as simple as that.
I just want to acknowledge and probably say hello to quite a few people across the world. There seems to be an awful lot of Galbally and Pomeroy exiles across the world here. The messages that are coming in, good luck to both clubs. A couple spring to mind there, Marie Claire and Sean and Dahi in the Bronx in New York. And there's a couple of others there from Thailand, a fella Kane.
Aye, Anthony, a nephew of my own would be watching it. My mother's here for the first time. I don't think she ever watched me playing football, but she'll come and watch everybody else play football. But no, here, Brandon touched on it. This is fantastic. It's a great initiative by the Tyrone County Board to get this up and running and give the Tyrone Gaels and Gaels from around the world an opportunity to see what the display that we can put on here. Both clubs were the 4 clubs. As you said earlier on, there's just 4 wee clubs from a rural part of Tyrone. And when you see what they're doing, the development that's going on in Pomeroy, the development that's going on in Kildress, the development that's happening in the Rock, and obviously the big development that we've had up in Galbally over recent years. The GEA is a foundation of parish life and life in Tyrone especially, but other counties all around the world, and this is great to see.
And there we have it from 2 real stalwarts of their communities, Brendan Fullen and Joe Cassidy. For those that maybe don't remember, Joe lined out for Tyrone in the '94 Ulster final against Down.
I can hardly mind it, Eugene, it's that long ago. So
But
that's the last century, fella.
Then again, Eugene, now, you see, the thing about this, Galbaly's trying to do what Pomeroy has done a few times, winning intermediate championship.
Well, that's it. This is
So
our
that's-
first.
I just like to say hello to them my New York friends and relatives.
Well, there you have it, folks, from, as I say, 2 very ardent Galbally and Pomeroy stalwarts, and they're shaking hands here, and I'll hand you back to the studio. And a big hello to all the Gaels across the world who are tuning in to Tyrone GA TV in conjunction with Todsley. It's over now to Paddy and Mark back in the studio.
No problem, Eugene there. Eugene getting the message from all around the world there, and that's great to be, I suppose, great to be broadcasting everywhere around the world today for the Tyrone Junior and Intermediate Football Finals. And of course, next week it's the Senior Football Final between Errigal, Kieran and of course Trillick. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back in a few moments with exclusive coverage of the Tyrone Intermediate Football Championship Final. Finally poised here at Healy Park. It's Galbally 10 points, Pomeroy 7 points as we have a wee break. Welcome back to Healy Park in Omagh for the LCC Group Tyrone Intermediate Football Championship Final. That Todd Sleep thing scared me. I'm a bit worried, and it was Logie. I was scared of nothing else. But what a wonderful place it is, Mark, right on our own doorstep, of course, as well. And this could be a horror story for Pomeroy if they don't get their act together in this second half. Mark, they've struggled a wee bit.
Yeah,
especially in that latter stages.
They've made a couple of changes here at half-time, Paddy, which may change things back in their favour. The experienced Kieran McKenna has gone in, and he's playing on the edge of the square, been marked by Kieran McCrory. Now, he's normally a defender, but he is an intelligent player and a good ball winner. And Mickey Mills, number 20, has gone in at wing half-back on the far side. We're not 100% sure who those changes are for, but they've obviously run the changes at half-time, whereas Galbally will be pretty happy with their first half work, and they'll just be hoping for more of the same, Paddy.
Yeah, they're on the offensive here again with the ball out this near side. We can't hear the outside anymore. We were hearing it earlier on, but it's always nice to get a wee bit of atmosphere in behind us here. But Daniel Kerr picks that ball up on the far side, tries to get the ball inside to Donnelly. Donnelly lays it back again, picked up by I think is that Mark Donnelly being introduced? Looking to see there, is that the number 10 on there? Is it? I just can't get a good look from this angle. It is, yeah. I thought it was there. So there were obviously a couple of changes there at half time potentially as well. We weren't told about them, unfortunately. But the ball out that far side once again. And it is Galbally coming forward here once again, Mark, and they're wanting to get on the ball here. And it is Mark Donnelly who's just been introduced, laying it back there. Thought about the shot for a split second. Comes back to Daniel Kerr. Kerr takes a touch inside to Nugent. Nugent steadies himself, drives it in, and a 3-point advantage has now went to 4 points, and just a perfect start for them, Mark.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned 3-point advantage. Well, Ronan Nugent has kicked 3 points in play, wearing number 6, and he timed his run perfectly there, Paddy. Galbally are very patient. Mark Donnelly had the ball on the far wing, didn't panic, went outside of the boot, shot, worked it back across. Ronan Nugent coming like a steam train through the middle, and between him and Liam Rafferty, 2 half backs, they have 5 points from play here, Paddy.
Yeah, brilliant stuff from them, and then a loose pass there from Denver Nugent goes astray, and you just see that Galbally have grown in confidence and continuing to grow in confidence. We're only into the 32nd minute of this contest, and already they're driving on. They're coming more and more into the fray and trying to get possession on that far side. Sean Murphy battling with Frank Burns deep inside his own half, and as you said, Mark, how long will it be before we see him dispatched from that sort of defensive role into a more free-flowing attacking role? Denver Nugent, ball in hand to Ronan McKenna. McKenna on that far side, but an interception got in there from Murphy, and or from Rafferty rather, and the ball won back, free kick
Yeah, well,
for Pomeroy.
Frank Burns cut that ball out brilliantly, Paddy, but he's now walking with his hands and his hips, recovering, whereas he is so much more effective on up the field, especially when Pomeroy needs scores.
Well, there's a high ball in there and well collected, and the referee awards the free there to the men in blue. And it's 20 for 5 in the Pomeroy side, and the 20 is Michael Mills, and the 18 coming in there is Kieran McKenna, and he's on for Ryan Begley, who picked up a card, of course, earlier on, and Ronan Duffin has been withdrawn there as well for the second half. So a couple of changes there, and obviously the changes then for Galbally as well.
Yeah, Pomeroy still.
Cormac Donnelly appears to be away, is he, Mark? No, he's still there, I think.
Cormac's still in there, yep.
Well, we'll work it out. Well, we're not panicking just yet now, unless that substitute makes a big impact. And perhaps Mark Donnelly is one man who could make a big impact. Scored 2-3. I think it was against Strabane, or maybe it was against Ahiarn that day. And big impact. It was, against Ahiarn it was, as they progressed through the championship. They're free flowing, they're moving the ball at pace again here now. Murphy picks it up, threads the ball out that far side where it is Donnelly, or where it is. It wasn't Donnelly, it was. The shot comes in anyway, and it's went over the bar, has it? It was the number 11, Daniel Kerr, who got the shot away. And they really have their tails up, Mark.
Absolutely. The confidence is absolutely flowing through Galway right now. There's a bounce in the step that wasn't there early on. They've Anthony McKenna under pressure from kickouts. Pomeroy would need a bit of leadership here now. Kieran McGeary, Ryan Loughearn, Frank Burns, Q Pat, Brandy Burns would need to step up here now, or this thing's starting to drift away from them. Yeah,
and the ball around the middle of the park. McGarry rose well for that one. It's going to be a hot ball underneath the Melia players there. It's Loughearn and McGarry. And up he comes. The referee, Fergal Ward, is going to hop the ball. The ball, one back there. And, plenty of possession, I suppose, for Pomeroy in the opening seconds of the second half. But they need to really try and get scores on the board now. They trail 12 points to 7. It's slipping away from them ever so slightly. And you just feel a goal in this game will have a big bearing wherever it comes. Here's a man keen to get in the score sheet. The ball out that far side. The ball closing in. A goal chance it is. And it's flashed across the face of the goal and over the bar. It has went over the bar. And, that man is Ollie McCreesh. He's gotten the end of that one. But again, potentially another chance for a goal, Mark.
Yeah, half a goal chance there. I think if that's Ollie McCreesh cutting in his right foot, that's in the back of net, Paddy. His left foot is reliable generally, but it's just not the 100% reliability that Ollie's right foot would present for Pomeroy, and they need probably a big score like that, because that would have put it back to a 2-point game. As it is, it's an important score for them to put it back to a 4-point game, but the momentum even since the throw-in, Paddy, is very much with this young Galbally team. They're playing with their tails up, and Pomeroy are doing well to hold on to them here. Galbally have been scoring points in bunches, Paddy, that we've talked about, and really Pomeroy would need to put 2 or 3 together here to bring this thing back to a point where they could really have a go at it. Yeah,
well, they're on the offensive now, Galbally again, and there's a man down who picked up a knock. Murphy threads a pass through, and it's going to be Donnelly in that far side. Flashes the ball across the face of the goals, and over the bar it goes 13 points to 8. And Donnelly, his first real, I suppose, touch of the ball, and he puts it over the bar. And there is a man down and in some discomfort down directly almost in front of us here. A few concerned faces there checking him out. The referee Fergal Ward's over having a look there as well. It's the LCC Group Tyrone Intermediate Football Final, brought to you live here on Tyrone TV in association with Todd Sleep. And as Liam Rafferty's back up onto his feet, or up onto his haunches again, he's recovering. And John Moylan looking to see is there a few animated voices on the sideline there, and the smile of Martin Sludden there as he walks past. He's heard it all before, Mark.
Yeah, and he hasn't reacted to it for over 15 years now, so he's not going to start today, so he's not, Paddy.
Absolutely not. Oh, good possession, one round the middle of the park, once again picked up by Ronan Nugent, driving forward, gives the ball inside again there to Conor Donaghy. Donaghy, back out it comes to Rafferty, and they're, well, they thought about just driving through there, but they're opening the men up. Here's a goal chance now. Donnelly, it is closing in, is it? No. Shot comes in, and that ball, it was Kerr, I think, again, the ball spun away out for 45. But
that's a massive goal opportunity missed, because there was a runner right down the middle, Paddy. There was a slip pass on. I think Anthony McKenna had actually committed himself to the shot stop. Now, he made a brilliant save, but there's a runner coming through for Galbally who had just a simple open goal, and I really think that, if this game had went to 113 to 8 points, this game's probably over for Pomeroy. So that could yet turn out to be a huge save there from Anthony McKenna, who's come in after 10 minutes, and we said already he's under pressure there because he probably, in his own preparations did the thing right, but he wasn't expecting to be playing such a big part in today's county final. So he has done a decent job here for Pomeroy, and that's a massive save. But the man on the ball right now, Cormac Donnelly, he scored a beautiful free from down in front of us, Paddy, from a similar distance, and he tends to strike the ball really, really clean and really well from a 50. We'll see how that goes here.
Yeah, drops it in, and well, umpire sprints across and raises the white flag.
Yeah, that ball had 30 metres on it, Paddy. That could have went over from 55, never mind 45. So a massive score there again for Galbally, and stretches the lead out further. So it is starting to drift away from Pomeroy. It's starting to get towards, even though there's over 20 left, I'll not say panic stations just yet, but a goal could be something that they might need right now at this stage. Yeah,
it's a bit of a dogged battle here coming for the men from Pomeroy Plunkets out that far side. It's Gavin Goodfellow. He's been managed to engineer something in the first half and scored a goal in 3 through this championship campaign himself. But now their backs are really against the wall here at Healy Park in Omagh in the second half. Coming forward now, Brenton Burns, a victim of a bad cruciate knee ligament injury, gives it back to Frank Burns, who's now moved more into a more attacking role. And he raises the white flag from the referee, his first score of the afternoon.
Yeah.
And they're going to have to get him more and more in the ball.
I think I saw the word come in the sideline. I think they've realised that now, Paddy. I think Pomeroy have now decided to ban the sweeper here, and they're going man for man. They've pushed Frank Burns right up. Now it does leave them 3-on-3 with half a pitch to the far side, and with the pace Galbally have, especially Daniel Kerr coming towards the ball, that's risky. But Pomeroy have got to go for it.
That's good stuff there from Daniel Kerr. He's a real battle for possession there with McGeary. Gets the shot in. That's never going to score from that angle, and it spins away wide. 14 points to 9. Mark, as you said, a goal at that occasion there for Galbally would potentially have sealed it, but as it is, it's still very much in the melting pot, despite the fact that there's 5 points between them. Yeah,
Galbally are doing the right thing and taking simple scores when they present themselves. I think Pomeroy are the team that have to force this, and passes like that aren't going to help because it's going to be maybe cut out. But Ollie McCreesh is a wily campaigner, did very well there, but a free out this time, Paddy. But again, it's Pomeroy who need the scores. Galbally can manage this game. They can wait on the opportunities to present themselves, keep possession like they're doing right now, bringing the goalkeeper in it, working it out to the far wing. Galbally are not the team who need the scores right now. It's definitely the black and amber from Pomeroy.
Yeah, Pomeroy, they're under a wee bit of pressure there, and if you just pull your mic a wee bit out, Mark, there, that's perfect. Yeah. And just getting a wee bit of bouncy noise there in the background, but it's perfect. As Roland Nugent drives at the Pomeroy side once again. The ball dropped in round the middle. Again, Donnelly, he's been very impressive since he came on, since he got the nod at the start of this game. Donnelly hits this one. Umpires have a look. Umpires signal wide. He was a late replacement for Mark Donnelly, of course, and Mark Donnelly has come in now, of course, for Mark Lennon, who was replaced.
Yeah, he was named to start, Mark Donnelly, in the starting team, but he's come in and he's made a good impact, Paddy. He's fisted a good, sensible point, but again, there's a good battle happening there now. Brandy Burns has now gone back to pick up Cormac Donnelly, and that's a massive battle there. Cormac might have an edge or two on him in terms of aerial ability, but Brandy's a wily campaigner, a very clever player, and again, it's Pomeroy who need the momentum, need to push forward here now. They need a couple of quick scores just to get themselves on Galbaly's coattails, and then anything can happen after that, Paddy.
Yeah, it's still very much anyone's game, despite the fact that we sort of know what they expect from Pomeroy as they came back so much during that championship campaign this year, and of course in the senior campaign a couple of years ago as well. They battled back into some big games when they looked dead and buried. They were down to 12 men and come back to draw level with Slot McCrory. Burns inside, the chance perhaps is going to come to Burns. He get the shot away once again. Keeper has to get a hand onto it and tips it away.
Yeah, but even within 3 minutes here, Paddy, the impact that Frank has made by switching from the attack to the defence has been huge. And again, it may be a regret of Pomeroy's if this doesn't work out, that they've kept him at the back there for so long, because the 2 times he touched the ball, they've both resulted in scores from. So the key point for Pomeroy is, can they get enough ball to Frank for the remaining sort of 18 minutes of this game?
They're working it in. They're carving out the openings now, and they've closed that gap down to 4 points again. A more manageable potential deficit for them. Man on the ball now on that far side will tee up the 15. Declan Murphy's got a couple of options inside. McGarty be one of them. It comes back inside to Nugent, back inside to McGarty. McGarty has a man on his shoulder, but it goes to the shot himself and pops that one over the bar, and that's a good score, his third point of the afternoon. But he had a man inside, Conor Donaghy, screaming for it there as well. But a point's a point at this stage.
Yeah, there's unbelievable pace in this Galbally team when they do break. You have Liam Rafferty in one wing, he's kicked 2 points, Paddy. You have Ronan Nugent, who was bombing forward and made that final fist pass. And Andy McGarty, he has 3 from play, and Andy McGarty has just tapped over his third. So between those 3 men, 2 half-backs and a midfielder, you're looking at 8 points from play, and that's a massive impact on the score in terms of a county final. You have your Daniel Cares and your Declan Murphys chipping in with points up front, but that's their bread and butter. But when you have that amount of scores coming from breakouts from defence through sheer pace and overlaps, that puts you on a good pedestal and gives you, puts you in pole position to go on and win the thing.
Yes, an entertaining up encounter as well, and a change there for is it Pomeroy? It is Pomeroy's making the change there. Number 21 there. Ronan Lagan coming in for Woods. Well, interesting, they're moving Woods, so adding a wee bit of maybe height in there, maybe into the attack, but Woods coming off now after, as you would say, a decent enough performance. And it looks to be Peter Rafferty, is it on the far side there? Paul Rafferty, rather, I think, is going to be introduced for Galbally.
Yeah, that's an excellent change before they bring in now Paul Rafferty to calm the thing down, win a couple of frees and take a couple of sensible scores.
Oh, McGeary bombing in, gets a shot away, and that's an excellent score. Good interchange play between Kilpatrick and McGeary. Pops that one over the bar, and it's down to 3 points, or down to 4 points again.
Yeah, that's excellent play by Kieran McGeary there, finishing off that move. But the key thing here now is, Paddy, Pomeroy need 2 in a row, 3 in a row, 4 in a row.
Yeah.
The thing is going point for point here, and that's suiting Galbally. So Frank Burns kicks a point, they go up the other end of the field, and McGarty strokes one over. Kieran McGeary's after scoring one. Can Pomeroy somehow disrupt this Galbally kick out, win possession and get a couple of points in a row? And then that'll start to ask questions of this Galbally team. But at the minute, Galbally are more than happy with the pattern of this game. As long as it's score for score, they have a 4 point cushion, Paddy. So it's really Pomeroy have got to force the thing here.
Well, veteran Paul Rafferty introduced there for Declan Murphy, and immediately he went into the full forward line. And Quinton himself there was the line there away to our right hand side, just dragging across the face of goals back and forward. And there was a pull back there on Sean Murphy, and there could be a card issued here by referee Fergal Ward, without doubt.
Yeah, it's Ryan Loughlin involved here again, and it's a yellow card. It's a sensible referee in from Fergal. It was high, but it was no more than that. It wasn't a really dangerous tackle, and hopefully the Galbally player involved gets up pretty quick. But maybe there's an element of frustration there from Ryan that he has kicked a point, I suppose, but he's also dropped one badly wide that would have put Pomeroy 5 up. Let's not forget they were 4-0 to the good, and he went through for a simple opportunity that he would normally put over the bar. So a bit of frustration settling in there from Ryan, but he still has 15 minutes as captain to step up and do something about this. This game is not over, Paddy, by any means at all, and there's no team more dogged in this division than Pomeroy. They will not let this go, and Galbally are going to have to earn their win. Mark
Donnelly on the far side, second half substitute, was to start the game, of course, but a bit of a knock coming into it and didn't, but he's made a contribution or two since he was introduced again. Galbally coming forward, and it's the man with the number 3 in his back, Conor Donnelly, thought about the shot. Now we'll go from the shot from distance, and he curls that one wide off the uprights there. He's wearing number 3, and he's the full back, but numbers really don't matter in a game like this because they're all over the place this afternoon here in this LCC Group Intermediate Football Final, brought to you on Tyrone TV in association with Todd's Deep. Down this near side once again goes the number 6 for Pomeroy, Gareth McAleer, back to McGeary. McGeary out the near side, then picks up the number 20 there, Michael Mills. Mills under a wee bit of pressure, releases it quickly, back to McGeary. McGeary has men running off him, decides to lay it back. Nice wee pass in there to Lorcan Kilpatrick, who's come more and more into the game, driving forward now in the second half. Out the far side, Ronan McKenna has possession of the ball. Nice pass through the middle. There's a couple of options there. The shot eventually comes in and has gone wide. But the creative, there's an opening there again, Mark, and they're getting those chances.
Absolutely, and John Moylan along the line here, he'll recognise that, Galway can't just hope that time runs out here, Paddy. I still think they need a couple of scores, because Pomeroy now are going to go wild here for this. They are running out of time, and there's a sort of a freedom that comes with that. They've abandoned the sweeper, they're going for it. And if Galway think that Pomeroy are just going to ease through this, they'll have another thing coming. So Galway need to push on and still finish this game with a couple more scores just to make sure, because Pomeroy are definitely going to go for it here.
Ball breaks around the middle of the park into the hands there of Shimmy Ogmulgrew, and he goes to ground, and well, he's slowly getting back up onto the park again, and the free kick will be awarded to Galbally.
And that was a relatively easy chance for Pomeroy there, Paddy, that last one. But, Gareth McAleer's an excellent defender and a very good halfback, but shooting wouldn't really be his forte, so maybe it was a more sensible option to give it to somebody who normally would. But again, there's a delay in the free kick, and Pomeroy, have their tails up here, Paddy, and they reckon they maybe sniffing blood here at this stage.
Yeah,
if they could get another score, you never know what way this game goes yet. Galbally very much in the driving seat, but Pomeroy battling for every ball.
Yeah, every loose ball there, bobbling around there. Murphy goes to ground once again. There was a wee bit of afters there. Martin Slutton says no one. Oh, there was a bit of nastiness there, it has to be said, from Ronan Nugent. A wee bit of afters there, more than a wee bit of afters perhaps from him and Gavin Goodfellow there. Yeah. And referee and Fergal Ward and the linesman there on the far side, Martin Slutton, will react to this without doubt.
There's no doubt. It was a silly tackle by Gavin Goodfellow initially. He caught Sean Murphy higher in the neck. But when he did do that and then sort of landed on top of him, now only Gavin will know whether that was deliberate or not. Ronan Nugent then came in at speed and pushed him down. So you have two men down on the ground here now. But Martin Sludden was standing right beside it. Fergal Ward was watching it as well. A booking there for Ronan Nugent for what he did. And there may be something else for Gavin Goodfellow. So he's been called aside as well by Fergal Ward. What colour will this be, Paddy? We're about to find out.
Yeah, there's a wee bit of afters there, and I suppose tensions raised. It's a county final at the end of the day. Lots of high drama, blood sub required there too, by the looks of things. And the referee signalling there he wants man to change his jersey and get a blood sub on.
Yeah, and it's Brendan Burns actually who's gone off as that blood sub.
He's taking no further action there. He's still going to hop the ball.
Yeah, a booking and away we go, Paddy. So
yeah, well, I suppose it is the championship after all, and we know what's at stake. And Michael Mills goes to ground onto the challenge and lays the ball back there to McGeary, who wants to engineer something quickly. Long probing ball into some space. It's picked up by the 21 there, Ronan Lagan. Again, the experienced man out to Burns. Burns 45 metres out. Again inside to Gavin Goodfellow, back to Burns. Burns thought about the shot for a split second there, but then decided to hold on to possession and try and carve out a better opening, a better option for a man in a better position. Oh, and the man going for it there was the number 18, that is Kieran McKenna. He slipped on the sod there, and well, the ball runs loose and is won back by Galbally, and Mark Donnelly takes it away. Rafferty wanted it through the middle. Challenge comes in there, and McGeary a bit disappointed there. Perhaps he was fouled. Bray McGuckin and Enda Kilpatrick look on as the ball moves into space where Rafferty picks it up. That man, of course, synonymous with success, and times were bad, he was always there for the Galbally men. He would dearly love to get his hands on a championship medal. They're few and far between in the Galway club. Rafferty in the far side flashes the ball in, and over the bar it goes. Again, there's a wee bit of a dip in that one. It could have dropped anywhere, but it has went over the bar, and it's back to 16 points to 11 here with almost 51 minutes played. This is crunch time for Pomeroy now, Mark.
That's a massive score, and all started up in the far corner. Kieran McKenna was going to come out and win a ball, and his feet left him, and Kieran McCrory intercepted the ball. But again, that pace in that Galway half-back line at midfield is frightening, Paddy. That's Liam Rafferty's third from play. Himself and Ronan Nugent at number 5 and number 6 have 6 from play between them, and really that's where the platform for victory has been today if Galway do hang on. Adding in and the McGarry in the middle of the field, who has 3 from play as well. That's 9 between 3 players who are not playing the forward line.
Burns inside, it comes to McKenna. McKenna gets the shot, comes in, the keeper gets a hand on it, flashes across the face of the goals, and is turned over the bar by Ollie McCreesh. But that potentially was another goal chance there, and Murphy's down injured away to their left hand side, and it was McCreesh got the final touch on it, I think, there, and 15 points to 12.
Yeah, absolutely.
16 points to 12.
16-12, 4 and again another goal chance goes a begging, which I think we realise, and probably Pomeroy do at this stage too, as we see Brandy Burns getting a lot of tape round that head. Obviously there's a nasty gash there, but they need to get him on the field as quickly as they can, because this game is still not away from Pomeroy. He's one of their leaders. He's kicked an excellent point from outside of the boot early in the first half. But you do get the feeling probably that it's going to take Pomeroy to rattle the net here, Paddy, to really give them a chance. And again, that's a half chance of a goal that's gone a begging as well. Ollie McCreesh probably did the sensible thing. The goal chance for me had probably gone. There was enough Galway players back. It was more important they got some sort of a score just to give them that foothold, but they need the next score again here.
Keeper had done well to spin that one away. High ball out into the middle of the park again on this occasion. It's one back, and that man's worked hard, Gavin Goodfellow. And McGeary out that far side as Galbally potentially get another man ready to come back into the fray again here in these latter stages. Time ticking on. 53 minutes almost played here. 16 points to 12. A goal either way will have a big bearing in this one if it comes, that is. Goalkeeper, of course, Martin McCreesh, replaced by Anthony McKenna in the Pomeroy goals. At the other end of the park, it's going to be tried to defend now. Shot's going to come in, perhaps. Well, they thought about it for a split second. McCreesh again. And he just plugs away, McCreesh.
Yep, clever.
And he's closed the gap.
Yeah, he's the fox in the box. But Ollie McCreesh, I know there was a debate over a penalty incident early in the first half, but he, his age is only a number. He is so mentally sharp, and any ball in there, his decision making is crisp as anybody in their early 20s. Ollie now pushing on into his mid and late 30s, but he's so mentally sharp. And again, the right decision from Mickey Mills to give him the ball, because Mickey Mills would not be a recognised finisher. Brandy Burns now coming back into the game here too, with a one kick of the ball between these two teams here, Paddy. There's 7 minutes left, and it's coming to a real crescendo here at the end, and Pomeroy are just not letting go of this.
No, just the 3 between them now, and at one stage it was 6, at one stage it was 5, and now there's a man being introduced there, and that is the number 19, Blaine Nugent, another experienced head, as Burns runs this ball around the middle of the park. Head heavily bandaged now, lays it back to the number 7, Ronan McKenna. McKenna out that far side in front of the stand. They're going to be patient here. They're not going to panic. We've been here before. There were, as we said, 3 down with 12 men in the park, and still came back to book their place and get a replay against Loughmacrory. They know how to get results. Shot comes in from Lorton Kilpatrick. This time it goes wide. And end of match positions, of course, a call going up now in a moment as well.
I think Fergal Ward's given a free in front of the sticks here,
has,
Paddy, because there was a late tackle there, went in as the strike was coming in from the Pomeroy man. So, what looked like a bad wide has actually guaranteed Pomeroy another point, and this thing is down to a 2-point game here. So suddenly, out of nowhere, with Pomeroy just going for this, and I think Galbally are starting to seize up a wee bit. They haven't got the same movement, the same flow of attack, really. They're hoping this thing goes away from Pomeroy, whereas Pomeroy are just in sheer desperation going for every single ball. So 1 or 2 scores will win this for Galbally. That's all it'll take. But at the minute, the momentum is definitely with Pomeroy here, and Galbally have got to be very careful.
2-point game with a flash there. Joe Doyle up in the stand there too. Of course, Joe Doyle does so much for Tyrone Gaelic Games. Of course, the main video man. But we're here today, of course, with the guys from Mac AV. Well done to them all, as always, for helping us out. And earlier on this afternoon, we had Damien Harvey and Pascal McConnell bringing you live coverage of the junior final, a rock victory in that one. A wee bit of afters there on the far side. It's becoming tenuous now. Ronan Lagan there and Enda Kilpatrick and everybody getting involved in that far side. There's a Galbally man down on the ground, and the referee has gone over to deal with something. Another bit of an incident there. It's all sort of happening here in these latter stages.
Yeah, I think it's
a card.
A real card coming out there, but
yeah, for the 21, who's not that long, and Ronan Lagan.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that Andy Kilpatrick didn't agree with that decision, Paddy.
No, he was a wee bit annoyed about it now.
And again, every decision is absolutely crucial here. He's going to recognise that Pomeroy are their tails up, but for Galbally, I think it does him no harm. It breaks up the game. It kills now a wee bit of time, although it will obviously be added on at the end. It kills that Pomeroy momentum, but the next thing Galbally have to do now is just use the ball, get the right men on the ball. Daniel Kerr, get him on the ball. Ronan Nugent, get him on the ball, because these are the men, especially Liam Rafferty and Andy McGarty, who have delivered for them here today. So they'll be patient, but they've got to get a score or two, I think, just to push them over the line, because they're not far away from lifting this title. Conor
Donnelly on the far side, the fullback driving forward, trying to create an opening. They could do with another score. Any sort of score at this stage will be vital, and they don't want to be taking the ball into the danger territory of the Pomeroy attack at this stage. Pomeroy with their tails up. Shea Horson to Donnelly. Great ball to Donnelly. It's opening up for him. He gets the ball inside. A chance here for Mark Donnelly. Donnelly shot blocked down. The ball fires out the far side. It's with Rafferty. Rafferty thought about a split second getting the shot away. The shot again comes in there from the number 11, Daniel Kerr, blocked down. Super defending from Pomeroy.
That is
That could be a turning
absolutely
point.
huge, Paddy. That is huge. Not only did it look like a definite point, it was actually a very good goal opportunity. But Anthony McKenna has made 2 point-blank saves in this game, Paddy, having only come into the game after 10 minutes as number 16. And I know 1 or 2 kickouts have gone askew for him, but in terms of shot stopping, he has been absolutely massive here. And this game is still a 2-point game. And in fairness to Galbally, they probably feel they should have had the thing put away at this stage, but there's so little between them right now.
So much bite in this game. You can nearly feel the tension up here at this stage. These are 2 neighbours. These guys know each other inside and out. They've been rocking along for many, many years in various divisions, various competitions. It's all coming down to the final couple of minutes here at Healy Park in Omagh. Michaela McGuigan out treating another Pomeroy man after shifting a heavy knock there. That is Michael Mills at a 16 points to 14. 2 superb blocks there. Certainly one to deny a point, one to deny what looked like a goal. But again, that man, Conor Donnelly, opening things up as he came forward, just spread open for him, and he just, was so close. He's going for another effort here now from distance.
This is
and
probably
this one.
This is the most pressure kick he has had today. The other 2 were not critical, Paddy, but it's vital for Galbally to get the 3 points, because what does that mean? That means if a goal does be conceded, at least it doesn't beat them. So this isn't his locker now. He has the distance, but the pressure maybe adds of the expectation adds a bit more to him, and he's not made this one, Paddy.
He hasn't made this one, and then the full back line there, the ball plucked out of the air, but a real tussle for possession. Daniel Kerr goes to ground onto the challenge. There's 3 Pomeroy men around him. He manages to get the pass to Rafferty, and out it comes once again there to the number 19 who's just introduced, Nugent. Again, they're going to be patient. They're going to try and open things up here, and it comes back to Rafferty. Out it comes there the whole way again to Nugent, and they're just going to hold on to possession and be steady and patient going forward. They're going to make a change in that far side as well. But now as they come forward, it is Conor Donnelly, the full back. He just holds off McGeary and then slips the ball inside to Liam Rafferty. Liam Rafferty, influential in this game throughout from start to finish. Back it comes again to the man with number 3 in his back. He's been really busy on the ball in the last maybe 5-10 minutes of this contest. There's just slowly going through the paces, trying to just probe open any sort of glimmer at all, any glink in the armour. Ball inside once again. It comes back to Donnelly, the man who's been good so far. Donnelly to Kerr. Kerr jinks away from the marker, cuts inside, shot comes in, and they definitely needed that score from Daniel Kerr. They were so patient in the build-up there, Mark. I thought maybe they'd overcooked it somewhat, but a fine finish in the end.
That was excellent play now, because a number of players had the opportunity to pull the trigger with half chances, Paddy, but they waited till they got it the right man. The wee jink inside, the pace that Daniel Kerr has is frightening, and with his weaker left foot he puts 3 between them. Pomeroy probably at this stage now need a goal, and here they come looking one, Paddy.
Yeah, Burns inside, they're going to try a chance. It comes to Burns. Burns shot! The ball blocked in. It is found the net! It is found the back of the net from Burns. The fans go absolutely wild. The initial shot was blocked down. It slipped across and has been turned into the net by the man who wasn't supposed to play in this encounter. 114 to 17 points. We're in for a real pressure cooker finish. We have played the 60 allotted minutes. We're going to go to the wire in this one.
Oh, Paddy, that is absolutely huge. And again, what a response. They needed the goal, and who better to have in that position? There was debate over whether he would play. Pomeroy, in fairness to them, they had to go the whole way to the DRA to get him off, but are they happy they've got Frank Burns off? His move from sweeper to up front has been massive. He has now hit a personal tally of 1-2, and that goal, just on normal time, has left it at us all square, Paddy, and we are in injury time here. This thing is going right to the wire.
Absolutely. I didn't see how much additional time was going to be played. There's a bit of animation on the far side, a bit of pushing and shoving between the substitutes on the far side, but the play continues. Who will get this crucial score? 1 point could seal this one. It's with McGardy through the middle. He lays the ball out. 5 minutes of additional time to be played here in this second half. We have played 1 minute of that already, as we can't even watch the clock. You cannot take your eyes off this one. In the closing stages, down this near side, goes down onto the challenge is Rafferty and Michael Mills and him coming together there. And, well, did they engineer the score? Did they be patient?
Yeah, I thought Cormac Donnelly now would have come trotting over to have a crack at this, Paddy, because he has got it, but he's staying well away from it, and Galbally are going to work a short one instead.
They're going to try and work something special here, perhaps. Conor Quinn. It's been really entertaining stuff here. Back it comes to Daniel Kerr. Kerr out to Rafferty. Rafferty from distance. Rafferty has found the target.
What a score. That's his 4th from play, Paddy, from wing half back, and we know the quality that Liam Rafferty has. But he may just well have kicked the most important point in his young career, because that could be the one that gets Galbally over the line. With about 3 minutes left, Pomeroy are not letting this go, and they're coming again looking about that equaliser. What a game we've had, Paddy.
Brilliant stuff here. We thought perhaps it was going to be one of those war of attritions that sometimes happens when you have two neighbouring teams, two teams perhaps that know each other inside out. We certainly haven't had that. It's been entertaining stuff, and really end to end, it's particularly in the second half. 10 points to 7. The men from Galbally led at half time. It is now a single point lead. That score from Rafferty coming there just at a crucial moment.
That's a massive error there now, unfortunately, for young Lorcan McBride. The fist pass just put him in bother. It meant he had to go to the ground with the touch, and Fergal Ward, the referee, is blown him for touching on the ground. That gives Galbally possession, and the onus is really on Pomeroy to push up right now. They have an extra defender back here in Denver Nugent, which means that Galbally have an extra player, and they can keep ball for as long as they want, as long as they're safe, because Pomeroy have got to force this turnover, and they're trying to put a bit of pressure on the goalkeeper here, Liam Macaulay, but he's done well, he's found that man.
Oh, and a wee clip of the heels there.
I think that's a minimum of black, and it could well be a straight red for Mickey Mills there. Yeah. That's a really... that's a daft challenge, and again, probably out of frustration.
Some tension on that bench, Mark, isn't there? That's sometimes black card.
That's a black. So at least Pomeroy do get the opportunity to bring somebody in for him, I suppose. But we're now down to the last couple of minutes, and it's really down to game management here from Galbally. This will kill Pomeroy's momentum and any chance they had of getting another score. Pomeroy have to push man for man and hope that they can in some way get possession, because if they do get possession, they've already proved us, Paddy, that there's scores in them moving forward. Whereas if Galbally get another chance and put one over the bar, Pomeroy then have to go for the goal. So this particular play, and it's Enda McGarty on the end of this free kick here, he needs to find a Galbally man. They need to work a score, and with number 24, Michael Murphy, the former Tyrone player, who's back in the country now playing for him. He's just come out to win this ball here now. He's
not a bad man to be bringing in, is he?
It's all right. There's been worse subs used, Paddy.
You're right, there has. Here he goes now, Murphy, of course, and has done so much to this club, as is this man, Rafferty. Lays it out this near side to Nugent. Nugent takes a touch, takes a solo. He's going to hold on to the ball. We've played 64 minutes. We're into the last minute of additional time here in the LCC Group Tyrone Intermediate Football Final. Just a single point between the sides. Galbally have the advantage, but they need to be cautious. They cannot afford to give the ball away, and they're in a dangerous territory now to do that. The ball comes back inside again. Picked up out this near side by Nugent, and they have to try and work the ball up the park. They're in dangerous territory. Heavy hit there on the number 4, Shea Hurson, goes to ground. The referee wants the play to continue. He's going to have a word with
Scared McGarry, Pomeroy, and you can see what he was trying to do. He recognised the need to force turnover. He's picked up a yellow there now, and again that eats into the time. We're now 15 seconds left on official time. These couple of injuries maybe will mean that there's one more play possibly.
Another minute maybe,
yeah,
Mark.
But time is really running out, and Galbally have been very sensible on the keep ball here. They just got to be so careful.
Well, it goes back the whole way to their goalkeeper there, and Blaine Nugent down this near side, encouraged to put the ball up the park again, but he's running into trouble. He will try and hold on to the ball. All eyes on referee Fergal Ward. He's looked at the watch now on 2 occasions. A quick glance of it again, perhaps, as the play comes down through the centre here. Galbally have to hold on to the ball. They lead 18 points to 114. They will try and maybe engineer an insurance point. Donnelly, who's been so good here this afternoon. The ball out to Rafferty. It would be fitting perhaps if he got a score on this final day. They've never won the intermediate title. Back it comes on that far side again to Daniel Kerr. Daniel Kerr, more hits and
what
hope.
A score, Paddy.
Is that over the bar? It has went wide.
Now,
but
the crucial decision here, Paddy, is does this kick out get away? If it does, Pomeroy have a chance. If it doesn't, they don't.
Oh, the referee said there was a substitution.
So he's allowed a substitution. So the likelihood is, Paddy, he's going to give them one more kick out. It's unlikely that Fergal Ward will blow the match up after allowing a change. So Pomeroy really have one play to save their championship final here.
What tension, what tension. The referee looks at the whistle again, looks at his watch, he's going to blow this whistle. He has he? No, I thought he had blown the final whistle there for a split moment. Carberry, a late replacement on here, brought in the latter stages of this encounter. Down the ball comes this near side once again. The referee awards a free kick. Donnelly underneath this one. Donnelly has been fouled. They'll slow things down, they'll try and methodically work the ball up the park once again. Donnelly can't afford to give the ball away, and Galbally are the champions. They have beaten Pomeroy 18 points to 114. What an epic battle it's proved to be, but we've seen a wee bit of history here this afternoon. They did start as favourites for the championship, Mark. Without doubt, their league performances have been superb. They were the top scorers in the championship all the way through, and they've lived up to that billing, but by God, they were pushed all the way by a very good Pomeroy side.
Absolutely. You pay tribute to Pomeroy for making an unbelievable final of it. They just did not let that go, but you have to take your hat off to Galbally as the Healy Park surface just turns into a wash of blue and white here. What a victory for them. Not this young team. They have been touted from quite a while back, Paddy, as the up-and-coming force. They were disappointed, I know, to lose their senior status, a bit like Pomeroy too, but they've sat as favourites really for this title from day one, and they have handled the favourites tag extremely well. And when Pomeroy did put it to them, and boy did they put it to them, with Frank Burns' goal leaving it level as we went into injury time, you were thinking, are the cracks going to start to appear now? But you have to give massive credit to that man, the pitcher, Liam Rafferty. He's been congratulated by his brother Paul there, seeing what a day for the Rafferty family. But Liam Rafferty stepped up and kicked his 4th point from play from a really, really tight angle. And in the end, that is a historic point for him, and one that has got Galbally to their first ever intermediate Tyrone title, Paddy. And there's going to be a serious party in the hills tonight.
Absolutely. That's their first adult title since 1958, Mark.
Yeah,
long before me or you.
It's massive, and I see, the amount of buggies you see being pushed in here, Paddy, and old people coming in as well. I mean, there's been a drought in Galbally, there's no doubt about it. They've produced good enough players to win something of significance before this, and they've had to wait a long time. And is this now the watershed moment? Is this now what opens up that we see more Galbally teams on the end of games and county finals in Healy Park, Paddy, celebrating like this? Because there's no doubt they have the structures in place, they have perfect facilities, they have a good GEA club there in terms of tradition and population. They have now a team they believe in. They're now proven winners, and who's to say whenever the celebrations do die down, Paddy, that they won't go on and do what Pomeroy did 3 years ago, I suppose, and other teams in Tyrone have done as well, and give the Ulster club a real rattle as well. And I suppose as Tyrone champions, we have to wish them all the very best for that competition where they go and represent us.
So much belief in this Galbally side, and we joked earlier on about Kevin talking about the success and the potential from a team at under 10, under 14, under 16, minor and at under 21 level. And here we go, they've booked their place in the Ulster campaign with the first ever Tyrone intermediate football title. They deserved it, there's no doubt about that. They were the top scorers in the championship in those 2 early rounds. They set the benchmark for everybody else. They were pushed all the way by Greencastle, and they were pushed all the way here to this afternoon. They got off to such a slow start here. They were, 4-0 down before they got going. And it was remarkable, but end-to-end stuff. I think we may have John Moylan on the far side there talking to someone, I think, over to Eugene on the far side, where we'll hear from John Moylan.
With us here, the victorious Galbally Pierce's manager and his young daughter here. And John, what does it feel like to be a Galbally man today, winning your first intermediate championship in Tyrone?
It's hard to put into words. It's the most wonderful experience. I've worked hard for this all year. My mind was geared towards this day from the start, and you daren't see it, you're afraid to see it, but I knew I had a panel good enough, and they were just tremendous today. It's wonderful for our community. 61 years is too far to wait. There's people, Galbally people all over the world that are missing home today. It's for them people that failed before. It's wonderful. I'm delighted.
Absolutely, John, and you've summed it up there perfectly. That's what it means to a community like Galbally that's so strong in the traditions of the GA, and today it's all about them and the victory here. But at times there, the way Pomeroy came out of the blocks, they went ahead, they went 4 points up, you didn't panic, you had a great purple patch towards the end of the half, and you finished strong, and then you took over in the second half.
Well, anyone who knows their football around Tyrone knows there's nothing between Pomeroy and Galbally. There hasn't been. There was 2 games last year. They're nip and tuck, and I expected nothing less today. I was worried at the start. I think nerves got a hold of us. Maybe half time came too short, quick for us then, because we were flying. But I thought they were immense in the second half. We started extremely well. Yes, we had a wee patch where they came back at us. Goal probably should never have gone in. It was a lack of concentration. But I thought the way we controlled the game for the last 3 minutes, I thought was just incredible. It's a mark of how good these footballers are.
And I think you summed up there earlier about the character of this team. You had real leaders out there today that really dug deep when they needed to. That inspirational point from Liam Rafferty just before half-time seemed to spark Galbally into a whole new phase of attack and dynamic.
They don't know when they're beaten. We haven't been beaten. You tell me, Eugene, I don't know, you're a better man in stats than I am, how many people go through the league and to this stage of the season unbeaten. No, I appreciate we've games to go, but I'll worry about that for another day. I'm so proud of them. I thought they played very smart, intelligent football at times, and they were patient, and they did everything I'd asked for them. Everything I asked of them boys this year, they did it and more on top. I'm immensely proud of them.
And I'm sure, John, days like this don't come around too often, and I'm sure Galbally community will celebrate for a few days to come, and all the Galbally exiles across the world will enjoy this moment.
For anyone watching away, I know Mickey Donaghy's in Boston, and there's people in Dubai. Brian Maguire's in Australia. I know you're watching. Emer Talley, who helped us out with physio. It's for all of you guys. It's for everyone that's away from home, and by God, they'll enjoy it. And aren't they entitled?
Yes, I think we've had it, the emotion here. We've had the excitement from the winning manager of the Galbally Pierces, their first title at Intermediate Championship level in 61 years. And on behalf of Tyrone TV, I want to wish you all the best and enjoy your weekend. Na habri.
61 years from winning a junior title, actually, Eugene, but 61 years for an adult title, Mark. That just shows the emotion and what it means to John Moylan, a man who came into the club as a player, married into the community, and as far as I can recall, having talked to John numerous times over the year for our podcast and bits and pieces, it's quite funny. He came in, his grandmother, or his wife's grandfather was the manager, I think, or was involved in the management of that team in 1958. So a great connection there to that, but it means an awful lot to these players in this club.
I mean, John's passion just came spilling out in that interview with Eugene there, but he's just summing up exactly what's felt there in terms of the Galbally people. They will be so slow to leave this pitch at the end of this game. It's unbelievable.
And rightly so.
Absolutely. These days are there to be absolutely cherished. You take every single moment of it because it does not come around. Unfortunately, there are girls from Galbally who have born and died tragically or whatever way they died and have not witnessed, experienced anything like this. So for those people, this is special. And I see young people going about with flags, and I see elderly as well. There's no age bracket or no limit in terms of the enjoyment for this. So even in terms of the playing panel, you know, for those young players at 19 and 20, this is huge. But you think of Michael Murphy there, for example, who spent numerous years over in London and has come home to play for Galbally. You think of the credit that Paul Rafferty is to that club. He absolutely soldiered when they were down their knees, and he dragged them through it. And you think of Kieran McCrory as well. So those three stalwarts, and I'm sure I'm missing a couple of boys there as well, but I'm not underplaying how much it means to the young players in Galbally, but those boys in their late 30s, every year, and some of them have families now and big commitments, and they probably have to get a bit of permission to go out and play and what have you. But what is it worth it, or is it worth it?
But you know, Mark, you say that, and we watched the junior game earlier on. Rock won in that one, and you have the likes of Tommy Bloomer and Kieran Gurley rolling back the years there today as well. And I think when you're playing for your club, it means an awful lot. Like, and Michael Murphy played at the highest level, played with Tyrone, of course, as well. And you know, so many of those players have played with Tyrone over the years, and so many more will play with Tyrone. But when it comes down to it, the brass tacks, it's that East Tyrone enclave there in the middle of the mountains up around Pomeroy and Galbally where it all matters, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, that's just the uplift that gives a community. You can't put a price on that, Paddy. And what they've done is they've inspired other generations of Galbally players to come through, 14s, 16s and even younger, that Galbally teams now go to county finals and win them. So they'll not only cherish tonight, it'll mean so much to the older generation who have gone through maybe the barren spells, but for these young people now making their way over to watch Sean Murphy lifting the Paddy Cullen Cup, this is something that will stand to them. You talk about Tyrone teams now and being inspired by the All-Ireland winning teams. Well, it's the exact same at club level. Galbally now have a winning mentality. where they've taken on the 21 title a couple of years ago, and in a few seconds Michael Kerr is going to present Sean Murphy with the Intermediate Tyrone Championship. And who's to say where this run will end for them this year? The pressure's now off. They have delivered on the pressure that was on them as favourites for the championship, and now you never know where this journey ends in terms of an Ulster Club run.
Absolutely, we'll cut across to get the presentation of the Paddy Cullen Cup.
Unfortunately, it wasn't to be Pomeroy's team today, but they are more than capable of being promoted back to Division 1 football through the league, and I wish you all the best in that. To your community, boys, you have a great community, you have a great gear, you have raised a lot of money, and the magnificent development that's taken place in your club grounds is something to be proud of. And I wish you all the health and joy in that building, and enjoy it for years and years to come. Well done to the Pomeroy community. To Galbally, your stay in Division 2 has been a short one, and well done to you. We wish you all the best as you go on to play in Division 1 and Senior Championship football again in 2020. And I wish you even more luck as you represent all of the clubs in Tyrone when you go on to the Ulster Club in a fortnight's time. You play a lovely brand of football, and you're more than capable of going the whole road. And all the best to every one of you. Finally, it's a privilege to present the Paddy Cullen Cup to the joint captains of the 2019 LCC Tyrone Intermediate Championship, Sean Murphy and Enda McGardy. Years on, here we are. Now, firstly, obviously, thanks to Brian. Brilliant game. I'm sure you come up through the league and we'll get another battle again next year, but honestly, guys, serious battle again, and well done to you. A lot of people to thank, guys. I can't do it all today. Firstly, and probably most importantly, our management team, John Moylan, Mindy O'Hagan, Kevin Kelly, Tony Kelly, Petey Murphy, Larry Murphy. Lads, you have transformed this club. You have transformed what it means to be a Galway man. And we couldn't be proud of you, guys. Well done. The players, lads, 45 or whatever it is, these are absolutely unbelievable. The commitment you put in from near enough this time last year, I have never been involved in anything like it. Boys, I don't even know what to say about these are unbelievable. Well done. Committee, boys, you have given us your backing all year. You know, we've wanted for nothing, whether it's food, we've stayed in our gym, anything we need, the committee looks after us. So thanks very much to you. And to the people of Galway, the supporters, the volunteers, young and old, you are the lifeblood of this club. We wouldn't be here without you. And I think about Galway Gales past and present, including Mickey McGahey, Cathy McVeigh and Mary Kane. They'll be proud of us here today. I'm not going to say much more. We get this cup up the road, up the paces. Just one more thing I want to say. We're going to take 1 pint for every single point that we hit in the championship this year.
It's good. That's brilliant stuff to hear there from them two men who have given so much, Mark, for this cause as they raise aloft the Paddy Conn Cup there. I know you just going to try and get a couple of words there. And, for the likes of Kevin Kelly and for John Moylan and that whole backroom team who have worked so hard. And they bought into a plan at the start of the year, a bit like Martin Hackett and Rock earlier on, and the lads have stuck with it, and they had such belief.
I think there's been a deadly organisation there, and the men you mentioned, they're Galbally men through and through, and then you have John Moylan adding into it with his touch of class there too. But I think the most telling thing is, Paddy, that they have been identified as championship favourites from day one, and that has not thrown them. And the profile of the team, if you take the subs include Michael Murphy and Paul Rafferty and Kieran McCrory who started the day, but they're a young team, and sometimes that weight of expectation can dampen your performance and dampen your levels. But they have motored through Strabane and Ahayarn. They got their acid test in the semi-final against Greencastle, and again Pomeroy came back at them at the death there. So they're worthy champions, and they have absolutely earned the title of 2019 Intermediate Tyrone Football Champions, Paddy. They play a lovely brand of football, and I would expect to see more of them at senior level pushing on for honours.
Well, I think we have Sean Murphy and McGardy on the far side there now, the two captains. I think we'll be able to hand to Eugene. It's going to be very tense over there, very difficult for him to get a word in. But we'll see if we can get him over on that far side there.
These are the Tyrone Intermediate Champions, a 61-year wait. John Moylan, the manager, was speaking to me earlier. The emotion, the raw tension that he had in getting across the line, boys. How does it feel to be the Tyrone champions?
Unbelievable. This club isn't used to days like this. We're going to relish this one. We really are. I don't know how to put it into words. It's just unbelievable.
And yourself, Sean?
As Zinda said, it's 5 minutes to go, and Pomeroy hitting the goal. You just fear the worst, but because of days going by. But there's a new breed of Galbally players, and unbeaten. I think it has to be said. These teams that don't know when to quit. Could have been out in the semi-final. Could have been beat against Ahar last week. These are a different breed of Galbally boys, and I think me and Andy just coming more proud of them, and John and all the boys.
And to be honest, boys, there's real leaders out there right across the team today. Everybody stepped up to the plate. Everybody showed what it was meant to wear the blue jersey today.
That's it. As Andy said, look, these boys have won under 21 championship, and it's something different. This is different pedigree of Galbally boys.
See it there, and it was always going to be difficult for Eugene in the middle of that. It's good to see, isn't it?
That image there, Paddy, that's the one that'll be on their mantelpieces until the day they die.
Absolutely.
They wanted to be in that team photo, and I totally understand them breaking up. I know it didn't work out too well for us here, but breaking up at an interview, there'll be loads of time for words after, but
you're right.
That's the one that gets framed. That's the one with the cup and all the boys and all the youngsters around it. It'll be on mantelpieces throughout.
That's the one you don't want to miss.
Forever, exactly, and you don't want to be superimposed in or people saying, where was he? Well, they know where they were, and the two captains have been, the joint captains have been central to this success this year, and there was no way they were going to miss that opportunity.
Well, Mark, thank you very much for being part of a wee bit of history for us here today, as Galbally lifted their first ever intermediate title and their first adult title in 61 years with a narrow 1-point victory over Pomeroy Plunkets. Earlier on, Rock had 3 points to spare over the men from Kildress. All the neighbours together here today. Two of them going up the road celebrating, two of them going up the road disappointed, but that is championship football. We're back here next week with Tyrone TV Live in association with Todd's Deep as we bring you live coverage of the men from Trillick up against Errigal Kieran. We'll not put Mark in the spot and ask him how that one's going to go. Jared Tracy and the boys will be here next week with that one. A big thank you to Eugene McConnell. Thanks to Damo here as well for helping us out with statistics all through the afternoon. Damien Harvey and Pascal McConnell for coverage of the first game, and of course all the guys behind the scenes, the technical men from Mac AV who have once again produced the goods for us here at Healy Park. That's it for our coverage today here of the Tyrone LCC Group Intermediate and Junior Football Finals. Thank you so much wherever you are for watching us this afternoon.